Hello, check. Hello, check. Check. Hello, hello. Hello, check. Hello, check. Check. Hello. Hello, check. Hello, check. Test. Hello. Check. Check. Hello. Hello, check. Testing. Hello. 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 Hello, test. Hello.
प्रेम से बोलिए श्री सतगुरुदेव महाराज की जय. Good morning to everybody. Namaste and welcome to today's spiritual function. On behalf of Manav Dharam Society UK, I would like to welcome you all here today to share in this wonderful opportunity to gain an insight into spirituality. We all know that science provides us the understanding of how things function, but spirituality explains why. And in this modern world, with the advancements of spiritual knowledge, we know it's vital for us to delve into spirituality to maintain a harmonious life alongside this science and advancements. So we know that there are great philosophers such as Socrates, who said, "Man, know thyself." And many wise people have come into this world to teach us and teach mankind to look within ourselves and achieve that state of bliss. So thank you all for coming today. And just before we continue, just would like to make you aware of some housekeeping rules. So kindly request that everyone switches off their mobile phones or puts them on silent. The toilets you'll see that by the entrance in the foyer, and the fire exits are either side of the hall. There is an information desk at the back, so if anyone needs anything throughout the day, and outside as well, there are volunteers around. So if anyone does need anything, please don't hesitate to ask one of our volunteers. Thank you very much. Just to run through the order of today, shortly we'll hear the thoughts of some of our fellow members of the organisation. We have Cascade Grunenwald, who's come especially from Switzerland to speak to join this event, and our trustee of Manav Dharam Society UK, Nur Tapaji, who will be sharing their thoughts. We will also then have a spiritual discourse by our resident Mahatma, Deepika Baiji, and this will be followed by the arrival of our honourable guest, Shri Vibhu Maharaj. We will also have some inspiring performances from the rising stars of our organisation, and then we will have the wonderful opportunity to listen to Shri Vibhu Maharaj's insightful thoughts, and he will be sharing his understanding and knowledge of self-realization. We will conclude today's program with the opportunity for blessings, and lunch will be served afterwards. And just to advise everyone that this program is being broadcast live, so you'll see the cameras set up. Please refrain from crossing them where you are able to do so. So without further delay, I would like to request our inspiring music team to begin with some devotional songs. We have Nusajan Sanoj and Samantha Thapa and Pritam Gurung and Shivang Makwana as well. Thank you very much.
प्रण मनुष्य सदगुरुदेव महाराज की
जय।
आनंद कंद भगवान की
जय।
जय। मानव धर्म की
जय।
मानव धर्म की जय। बंदो गुरुपाद कंज कृपा सिंधु नर रूप हरि महामोहतम पुंज जासु वचन रविकर गुरुर ब्रह्मा गुरुर विष्णु गुरुर्देव महेश्वरा गुरुर्साक्षात् परब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। आनंद कंद भगवान की जय। श्री गुरु चरण कमल बलिहारी रे प्रभु चरण कमल बलिहारी रे मेरे मन की दुविधा तारी रे मेरे मन की दुविधा तारी रे गुरु चरण कमल बलिहारी रे प्रभु चरण कमल बलिहारी रे भव सागर में नीर अपार भव सागर में नीर अपार डूब रहा नहीं मिले किनारा डूब रहा नहीं मिले किनारा पल में दिया उभारी रे गुरु पल में दिया उभारी रे गुरु चरण कमल बलिहारी रे प्रभु चरण कमल बलिहारी रे काम क्रोध मद लोभ लुटेरे काम क्रोध मद लोभ लुटेरे जन्म जन्म के वैरी मेरे जन्म जन्म के वैरी मेरे सबको दीना मारी रे गुरु सबको दीना मारी रे गुरु चरण कमल बलिहारी रे प्रभु चरण कमल बलिहारी रे द्वैत भाव सब दूर कराया द्वैत भाव सब दूर कराया पूर्ण ब्रह्मा एक दर्शाया पूर्ण ब्रह्मा एक दर्शाया घट घट ज्योत निहारी रे गुरु घट घट ज्योत निहारी रे गुरु चरण कमल बलिहारी रे प्रभु चरण कमल बलिहारी रे योग बताई युग युगत गुरुदेव बताई ब्रह्मानंद शांति बन आई ब्रह्मा
जाने ना जग को खबर कब होगी जाने ना जग को खबर कब होगी योगी रे क्या जादू है तेरे प्यार में योगी रे क्या जादू है तेरे प्यार में योगी रे क्या जादू है तेरे प्यार में आनंद कंद भगवान की जय
Prem se boliye Shri Satgurudev Maharaj ki jai. I'd now like to welcome Cascade Grunwald from Switzerland to share her thoughts in English. Thank you very much.
बोलिए श्री सतगुरुदेव महाराज जी की जय. We have gathered here today after 3 years of waiting to be able to have the presence again of a member of the Holy Family of Shri Vibhu Maharaj. And by his grace, time passed, we all grew. We can see a difference between children, but we too also grew. Maybe we see a bit less physically, but we grew. And there's a beautiful Tibetan saying that says that once time and man met together. And man looked at time and said, "Why do you pass so fast? I'm not able to do anything." And time looked at man and he started to laugh and said, "I don't pass, you are the one who passes." And when we think about it, it's so true. Because time will always be the same, but we are the one who passes. And this is exactly what happened these 3 last years. Because by these 3 last years, COVID happened, so many things happened, but also we grew. And especially, I'm sure we all grew in a spiritual way. And this is what's the most important. I was in America for 1 month, and that was a new experience, going out of my comfort zone. Even if it's in a Western country, it was still going out of my comfort zone. And something that I, noticed was really funny is that wherever you will go, you'll use a GPS, because you don't know where is. So you're using your GPS to be able to find your way. And in the same way, how I was trusting that GPS in a blind way because I didn't know where I was going, but I knew my destination and I was able to have that GPS to go. In the same way, we need to have a spiritual GPS inside of us. Because if we don't know where we are going, if we don't know our final destination inside of us, how are we going to be able to reach it? It won't be possible. And this is where we are so lucky. Because being able to have the destination inside of us and being able to have the GPS inside of us, we're able to go, on our journey. And we all know how GPS works. In case we're supposed to go, right, and we go left, automatically it will show us the good way, and it's exactly how we should go inside of us, And that reminds me of a story is that one day there was a young girl. She had a very strong desire to go and see her master. But at that time, there was no cars, there was no GPSs, there was no planes. So it was a bit hard for her to go, but the struggles of the journey did not stop her to go. So she decided to start her journey. She took a little backpack, her little stuff that she needed and stuff, and she started her journey. So by starting her journey, after some time, she didn't have any food with her anymore because it was a long journey. So she got hungry. But she didn't worry about that and she continued her journey. And one day, out of nowhere, one auntie came, one old lady came to give her food. And so she was happy. She was able to continue her journey because she had food. She was able to pack the food that she needed to go and continue her journey. So after, again, sometimes some other struggles came on the journey. There was a very big lake and she was not able to swim. It was a very common time, it's different times and stuff. So when the big lake was there, again, she didn't let that obstacle take over and she jumped in the lake. And out of nowhere, somebody came, fetched her and put her in the boat and bring her on the other side of the shore. So everything again was okay. And then after she finally almost reached, but she was still not there. She had to go through a very big jungle, and through that jungle, There was so much, animals, it was dark and everything. She was afraid, but she didn't let that fear take over. So she continued, and out of nowhere, some animals tried to come and attack her, but somebody came and again protected her. So the moment that she came and she reached the feet of the master, the moment that she arrived at her destination, the master was very, very happy with her. And she didn't understand why. She was questioning why. What did I do that you're so happy with me like that? And the master said, whenever you were hungry, you thought of me, so I came and I fed you. Whenever you were in a situation that you didn't know what to do, you thought of me, so I came and I saved you. And whenever, you were afraid of this dark, forest and so many, dangers were there, you did not take fear take over, and you thought of me, so I came and I protected you. And that's why the master was so happy. And this story is a very childish story. There's not, a big thing about it, but it's a very pure and very strong story. Because we should have the same kind of faith like that inside of us for our Guru Maharaji. Because the more faith and, love that we have for Guru Maharaji, that will make us grow. Because, when we are children, the only thing that counts for us inside of us is to make our parents happy. Because if our parents are not happy with us, we won't be okay. And the more happy our parents are with us, the more love we will receive for them. And this is exactly where we are standing today. Because we are the children of our master. We are the children, of God, finally. And without knowing where God is, how can we find him? Today we are sitting all together, but until I do not know your name, until you do not introduce me with your name, I will not know you. And in the same way, if you don't know not my name, how can you know me? And God himself has also a name. But that name is a metaphysical name. That name goes beyond, time and space, because he created everything. So how can it be an alphabetic name? That's not possible, So we have to go and find that name inside of us. That's the most important. And today, we've been blessed with Shri Vibhuji Maharaj's holy presence, And to be able to be, again, after 3 years together, that's the most beautiful thing that we can just imagine. Because this will make us grow inside of us, We grow physically, but we should not forget to grow spiritually too. Because if we don't grow spiritually, one day or another we'll regret it. And if we start to regret things in our life spiritually, we will not be able to be happy. And at the end of the day, look at us, study yourselves, and what are we all looking for? We're looking for happiness. We can buy a new bag. We'll be happy with it maybe for a week or two, and still I'm generous. We can buy a new car. You'll be maybe happy with it for, a year. And after a year go by, when the new model is out, you won't have the new model. You'll forget your old car. You can get a new big house. You'll maybe be happy with that house for a little while. But after a time, you'll be thinking of all the nasty things that in your house. You will want to have something better and something stronger. And in the same way, we want to find happiness. If we want to find God, we have to go inside of us. Because this is where God, he is. In all the scriptures, it is written that God is everywhere. So if he is everywhere, he must be also inside of us. But we need this special GPS to be able to find him, Because without the GPS, we don't have the destination. And without the destination, how are we able to reach it? So I think this is all I had to say. I had 10 minutes. I'm not sure if I took them up or not. We'll see. It's okay. But I'm very happy to be here with you all today, and especially with Shri Vibhuji Maharaj. And Shri Vibhuji Maharaj will bless us with his satsang, after. And whatever Maharaji says, we should take it in consideration. We should study ourselves to be able to become a better version of ourselves, to be able to grow in a spiritual and in a true way. So thank you very much for listening to me. And Boliye Shri Sadgurudev Maharaj ki jai.
Thank you very much, Cascade, for that inspiring speech. We always love to hear from you, so 10 minutes is not enough, but a beautiful message about faith in the Almighty. I now request Dimple Makwana to share a devotional song. Thank you.
बोलिए श्री सद्गुरुदेव महाराज की जय, आनंद कंद भगवान की जय। तुम हमारे थे प्रभु जी, तुम हमारे हो, तुम हमारे ही रहोगे, हो मेरे श्री श्यानंद कंद भगवान की
जय।
अभी लग रहा है।
Thank you to the bhajan team and Dimple Ben. We would now request our trustee of Manav Dharam Society UK, Noor Thapa, to come and share in Nepali his thoughts. Thapaji, thank you.
प्रेम से मनो श्री सद्गुरुदेव भगवान को, आनंद कंद सच्चिदानंद भगवान को। गुरुर ब्रह्मा गुरुर विष्णु गुरुर्देव महेश्वरः, गुरुर साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमो नमः। परमपिता परमात्मा इष्टदेव श्री सद्गुरुदेव भगवानको चरणमा कोटि कोटि नमन गर्दै, साथै हाम्रो पूजनीय भाइजीको चरणमा नमन गर्दै, यहाँहरू सम्पूर्ण जति पनि भक्तगणहरू हुनुहुन्छ यहाँहरूलाई यस कार्यक्रममा हार्दिक हार्दिक स्वागत गर्न चाहन्छु। र आज हाम्रो सौभाग्यको कुरो हो, गुरु महाराजजीको एउटा असीम कृपाले गर्दा अहिले 3 वर्ष, झन्डै 3 वर्षको अन्तरालमा अहिले हाम्रो अगाडि श्री विभुजी महाराजजीले हामीलाई आशीर्वचन दिन आउँदै हुनुहुन्छ, ब्लेसिङ गर्दै हुनुहुन्छ। गर्दाखेरि यहाँहरू सबै खुसी हुनुहुन्छ होला, किनभने यो पेन्डेमिकले हामीलाई गर्नु गरेको छ। कति हामीले गुमायौँ है आफन्तहरूलाई, तर के गर्ने होइन, परिस्थिति अगाडि बढ्नै पर्छ। यो त हामीले हाम्रो अगाडि कति जान्छन् कति आउँछन्, तर हामीले जाने दिनमा मात्रै याद हुन्छ, तर गइसकेपछि हामी बिस्तारै बिस्तारै बिर्सिँदै जान्छौँ। यो चाहिँ अब प्रकृतिको नियमै यस्तै रहेछ। त्यसले गर्दाखेरि जति पनि हाम्रो प्रेमी भगवतहरू यहाँबाट बिदा हुनुभयो, उहाँहरूको दिवाङ्गत आत्माप्रति हार्दिक श्रद्धाञ्जली ज्ञापन गर्दै म यहाँहरूलाई एउटा नेपालीमा केही मेरो एउटा अनुभव सेयर गर्न आइरहेको छु। गर्दाखेरि यहाँ इङ्ग्लिसमा र हिन्दीमा नहुँदाखेरि यहाँहरूलाई अलि गाह्रो पर्ला, यदि हिन्दी भाषीहरू हुनुहुन्छ, इङ्ग्लिस बुझ्ने हुनुहुन्छ। यहाँ ट्रान्सलेसन चाहिँ हामीले गरिएको छैन, किनभने अलि छोटो समयले गर्दाखेरि। जे होस्, यहाँहरू सबैलाई हार्दिक हार्दिक स्वागत गर्न चाहन्छौँ। र म एउटा मेरो आफ्नो जीवनमा एउटा भनौँ न कसरी यो उसमा गुरु दरबारमा जुटिन गयो भन्ने मात्र म छोटो यहाँहरूलाई सानो जानकारी गराउन चाहन्छु। तर त्योभन्दा अगाडि म एउटा सानो कथामा आधारित यहाँहरूलाई व्यक्त गर्न चाहन्छु। सन्त ज्ञानेश्वर यहाँहरू सबैले सुनिराख्नु भएको छ, अनि सन्त ज्ञानेश्वरको यहाँहरूले कथामा धेरै सुन्नुहुन्छ। र उहाँको समयमा एकजना यस्तो सिद्ध बाबा हुनुहुन्थ्यो, जहाँ कि उहाँको हजारौँ भक्तहरू हुनुहुन्थ्यो, अनि उहाँले सर्पको लट्ठी टेक्नुहुन्थ्यो अनि बाघमा चढ्नुहुन्थ्यो। उहाँको जुन भनौँ न सवारी चाहिँ बाघ हुन्थ्यो। अनि उहाँले अब यसरी सन्त ज्ञानेश्वरको अब उहाँको भनौँ न त्यतिखेरको बखान, उहाँको महिमा सुन्दाखेरि उहाँलाई नै अचम्म लाग्यो। म भनेको त पहाडमा बसेर यस्तो ध्यान गरेको मान्छे सिद्ध बाबा कस्तो रहेछ सन्त ज्ञानेश्वर, म पनि विचार गर्नु पर्यो भनेर उहाँ चाहिँ जानको तयारी हुनुहुन्छ। अनि जाँदाखेरि उहाँले आफ्नो हजारौँ शिष्यहरू लिएर अनि सिंहको वाहनमा चढेर, सिंहमाथि चढेर जिउँदो के अरे सिंहमाथि लिएर उहाँ चाहिँ जानुहुन्छ, अनि उहाँलाई भेट्नको लागि सन्त ज्ञानेश्वरलाई। अनि त्यतिखेर अनि त्यो मेसेज चाहिँ फेरि के हुन्छ भने, सन्त ज्ञानेश्वरलाई कसैले मेसेज दिन्छ, उहाँको अब उसहरू हुन्छ। त्यतिखेर उहाँले यङ एजकै हुनुहुन्छ, अनि सन्त ज्ञानेश्वरले भन्नुहुन्छ आफ्नो साथीहरूसँग खेल्दै गरेको हुनुपर्छ, ओहो मलाई यस्तो सिद्ध बाबा भेट्न आउँदै हुनुहुन्छ। त्यसले गर्दाखेरि म पनि उहाँलाई स्वागत त गर्नु पर्यो। जस्तो अहिले हजुरहरूलाई हामी स्वागत गर्ने कोसिस गरेका छौँ, तर त्यस्तो स्वागत हुन सकेन, त्यसमा हामी क्षमा प्रार्थी छौँ। अनि उहाँ साथीहरूलाई ल जाउँ हामी सबै स्वागत गर्न जाउँ, उहाँ सिद्ध बाबा आउनुभएको छ भनेर भन्नुहुन्छ। अनि त्यतिखेर अब कसरी जाने त भन्दाखेरि सबै त्यो वाल हुन्छ नि, पर्खाल, तपाईँहरूलाई थाहा छ होला, त्यो ढुङ्गाको पर्खालमा सबै त्यहाँ बसिराखेको हुन्छ। अनि ज्ञानेश्वर महाराजले के भन्नुहुन्छ, ओके मेरो के अरे यो साथीहरू सहित यो सिद्ध बाबालाई वेलकम गर्न जानुपर्छ भन्दाखेरि होल त्यो जुन पर्खाल हुन्छ, वाल हुन्छ, त्यो नै के हुन्छ मुभ हुन्छ। अनि त्यसमा नै चढेर उहाँहरू वेलकम गर्न जानुहुन्छ। हाफवेमा गएर भेट्दाखेरि अनि सिद्ध बाबाले देख्नुहुन्छ है, ऊ त पर्खालमाथि चढेर आएको छ, निर्जीव वस्तुमाथि चढेर आएको छ, म त जीवित वस्तुलाई कन्ट्रोल गर्न सक्छु भने ऊ त निर्जीव वस्तुलाई पनि यसरी चलायमान गर्दो रहेछ भनेर उहाँ भनौँ न उहाँले आफ्नो पराजय के अरे स्वीकार गर्नुहुन्छ। र अनि सन्त ज्ञानेश्वरको चरणमा नतमस्त भएर उहाँले चाहिँ अनि सन्त ज्ञानेश्वरको चेला भएर उहाँले प्रसार गर्नुहुन्छ भनेपछि अब हामीलाई पनि अब हामीले सोच्छौँ होला गुरु महाराजजी हेर्दाखेरि अब यहाँ आउनुभएको छ यहाँ होइन अब उत्तराखण्डमा हुनुहुन्छ गुरु महाराजजीको शक्तिको हामीले कतिले अनुभव गरेका छौँ कतिले गरेका छैनौँ तर हजुरहरू हामीले जसले गरेका छौँ गरेका नगर्नेले पनि गर्ने कोसिस गर्नु पर्यो र म पनि यस्तै हजुरहरू जस्तै हजुरहरू नभनौँ यहाँ कति अब ज्ञान नलिनु भएकोहरू पनि हुनुहुन्छ कति चिजहरू अब हाम्रो विशेष गरी अब खानपानमा धेरै हामी अलिकता हच्किन्छौँ अनि त्यसले गर्दा हामी कति कुराहरूमा है जानु हुँदैन भन्ने त्यस्तो मनसाय हुन्छ म पनि एक होइन अब गाउँमा हुर्केको एउटा पहाडको ठिटो होइन अब यङ एजमा म एक गाउँको पुजारी थिएँ पुजारी हुँदाखेरि पुजारीको काम के हुन्थ्यो भन्दा नेपालमा हामीले सेक्रिफाइस गर्छ एनिमल सेक्रिफाइस गर्ने चलन हुन्छ प्रत्येक पूर्णिमा यस्तो पर्वहरूमा हामीले एनिमल सेक्रिफाइस गर्छौँ त्यस्तो गरेर हुर्केर पछि म मेरो आर्मी जीवनमा म प्रवेश गरेँ जहाँ कि आर्मी जीवन भनेको तपाईँहरूलाई थाहा छ फौजी जीवन होइन फौजी जीवनमा मान्छेलाई जनावर मार्ने होइन मान्छे मार्नको लागि ट्रेन भएर गएँ म होइन तर मैले के सङ्कल्प गरेँ कि अब आर्मीमा जोइन भएपछि अब मैले एनिमल सेक्रिफाइस चाहिँ मैले छाड्नुपर्छ भन्ने मेरो एउटा विचार भयो त्यतिखेर तर पनि कति परिस्थितिले मलाई छोड्न दिएन तर पनि मैले सकभर मिनिमाइज गरेँ त्यसरी गर्दै जाँदा अचानक भनौँ न 98 सालतिर 1998तिर गुरु महाराजजीको कृपा भयो होइन गुरु महाराजजीको कृपा भएर मैले यस ज्ञानमा प्रवेश गरेँ त्यतिखेर मलाई लागु पदार्थहरू यो सब पिउने भनौँ न पिए पदार्थहरू भनौँ लागु पदार्थ भन्दा फेरि ड्रग्स भन्नु होला पिउने हुस्की ब्रान्डी सब यो सब चल्थ्यो मेरोमा होइन किनभने म त फौजी मान्छे होइन मेरोमा कुनै त्यो रुकावट थिएन तर मैले त्यतिखेर मलाई महात्माजीले के भन्नु भने तिमीलाई म ज्ञान दिन्छु तर तिमीले मलाई के दिन्छौ भन्नुभयो मैले के अब के दिने मसँग के छ र के दिने महाराज के अरे महात्माजी भन्दाखेरि महात्माजीले भने 6 दिनुपर्छ के दिन्छ भने अब के दिने अब प्रमिस बाहेक त के दिन सकिन्छ र होइन र अब आफूसँग भएको त्यही हो प्रमिस अब ल भन्नुहोस् के दिउँ भने ल तिमीले एउटा कुनै खानामा शुद्ध गर्नुपर्छ भने मैले भने अब फौजी घरमा खाना त अब होइन कुक हाउसमा अब अहिले जस्तो भेजिटेरियन समस्या छैन अहिले त होइन यहीँ पनि कति भेजीहरू पाइन्छ भिगन पाइन्छ तर अब 98तिर कुरा हो त्यो त होइन हार्डली भिगन भन्ने अब भेजिटेरियन भन्ने त पाउन साह्रै पर्थ्यो अनि त्यहाँबाट मैले हुन्छ महात्माजी म आजदेखि यो पिउने पदार्थ चाहिँ पिउँदैन यस्तो जस्तो अल्कोहल म लिँदैन भनेर मैले ज्ञान इनिसिएट गरेँ तर त्यसको 2 दिनपछि हाम्रो दसैँ नेपालीको दसैँ भाइटिका थियो भाइटिकामा जाँदाखेरि प्रत्येक आफ्नो रिश्तेदारहरूको घरमा जाँदाखेरि टिका टालो गऱ्यो फेरि खाना त हाम्रो वेलकम के हुन्छ नेपाली चलन यहाँहरूलाई त कतिलाई थाहा छ छैन हाम्रो चाहिँ अब मासु रक्सी यस्तो चिजहरूले मात्र वेलकम हुन्छ त्यो नै सबभन्दा ठुलो हुन्छ भएन अब लाउरे आएको त्यतिखेर उहाँहरूले दिनुभयो तर मैले भने मैले छोडेँ मैले खाँदैन भन्दाखेरि सब यो पागल भएछ नुरे भन्थ्यो कि मलाई त्यतिखेर होइन तर अब मलाई त्यस्तो खाम पनि लागेन होइन यहाँ कति हुनुहुन्छ नि कहाँ छोड्छु भनेको छोड्नै सकेन टल हुन्छ भन्नुहुन्छ क्या होइन तर जब समर्पित भावले हामी छोड्छौँ र गुरु महाराजजीको चरणमा दिन्छौँ भने सायद त्यति समस्या पर्दैन रहेछ भन्ने मैले एउटा आफ्नो जीवनमा अनुभव गरेँ र हामी सबैलाई ज्ञान प्राप्ति भएको छ कतिलाई प्राप्ति हुनेवाला छ होइन तर ज्ञान प्राप्ति हुनुको पनि कुनै कारण हुन्छ रहस्य हुन्छ होइन यहाँले यो नसोच्नुहोस् कि हामीलाई ज्ञान भयो तर यति नै अब पुण्य हुन्छ हामी मोक्ष हुन्छौँ भन्ने नसोच्नुहोस् होइन धेरै कुराहरू गर्नुपर्ने छ म हजुरलाई यसमै एउटा प्रसङ्ग जोड्न चाहन्छु 2004मा म अमेरिका थिएँ आई वाज इन अमेरिका इन 2004 वेयर महाराज ह्याड अ प्रोग्राम इन क्यालिफोर्नियामा त्यतिखेर है त्यतिखेर महाराजजीले निस्केर आश्रममा मलाई भन्नुभयो ओके हामी लन्डनमा आश्रम किन्दैछौँ महाराजजी चाहिँ वी आर बाइङ अ आश्रम इन लन्डन मान्छे नि वाट इज द पोइन्ट बिकज आई एम लिभिङ इन अमेरिका एन्ड महाराजजी सेइङ मी इन लन्डन ओके थ्याङ्क यू महाराजजी करके चल गया हम त्यो फेरि के भयो त्यसपछि 2004मा यहाँ एनाउन्समेन्ट भयो कि आर्म फोर्सेस भिसाको लागि सर्भमेन्ट भिसाको लागि एक्स आर्मीको मान्छे यहाँ आउनु सक्छ भन्ने अनि मैले सोचेँ किन यस्तो महाराजजीले त्यतिखेर पहिल्यै भनिदिनु भएको थियो नि त त्यही भएर यहाँ आइयो होइन यहाँ आएर आश्रममा सेवा गर्ने सौभाग्य मिल्यो गुरु महाराजजीले भन्नाले महाराजजीले पहिले नै कुनै कारणले नै ज्ञान दिएको हुन्छ होइन हामी सबैलाई जति ज्ञान दिनुभएको छ होइन नदिनु भएको छ पाउनु भएको छैन केही कारण हुनसक्छ तर हामीले त्यो कारण बुझ्दैनौँ तर हामीले इमिडिएट रियाक्सन के गर्छौँ भने वी गेट अपसेट होइन यो भएन ऊ भएन होइन मैले ज्ञान लिएर नि यो भएन छोरा भएन छोरी लाउरे भएन पढेन डक्टर भएन इन्जिनियर भएन हाम्रो हरेक चिजहरू त्यो कामना हुन्छ तर त्यो कामनाको लागि ज्ञान लिएको त होइन नि हामीले त होइन हामीले आफ्नो मन पवित्रको लागि ज्ञान लिएको गर्दाखेरि यहाँहरूले अहिले हाम्रो आश्रममा यत्रो 2 वर्षपछि बाइजी आउनुभएको छ। 2 वर्षको लागि गर्दा यहाँहरूले भरपूर्ण लाभ उठाउनुहोस्। बाइजीलाई घरमा लगेर हैन आफ्नो इष्टमित्र हैन 2-4 जना साथीहरूसँग इन्ट्रोड्युस गराउनुहोस् हैन, कोठे सत्सङ्ग गर्नुहोस्। त्यति नै हुँदैन भने आफ्नो फ्यामिलीसँग बसेर 1-to-1 सेसनहरू हैन इन्टरेक्सनहरू गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ। गर्दाखेरि विशेष गरी यङ जेनेरेसनलाई म यही भन्न चाहन्छु कि तपाईहरू नहिचकिचाउनुहोस् हैन। फेरि अब मैले प्रश्न गरेँ भने यसले त थाहै रहेनछ भन्ने खाले प्रश्न हुन्छ होला भनेर नसोच्नुहोस्। गर्दाखेरि बाइजीको अहिले भरपूर लाभ उठाउनुहोस्। यहाँ अब गुरु महाराजी आउनुभएको छ, गुरु महाराजीको भरपूर्ण लाभ उठाउन दर्शन गरेर गर्दाखेरि म यहाँ धेरै यहाँहरूलाई रोक्न चाहदैन, किनभने अब महाराजीको सत्सङ्ग बाइजीको सत्सङ्ग सुन्नको लागि हामी यहाँ आएको हो। एउटा यहाँहरूलाई मेरो यही आग्रह गर्दछु कि हैन ज्ञानको मार्गमा हिँड्दाखेरि उथल पुथल धेरै हुन्छ, तर यसमा नडराउनुहोस् हैन, अगाडि बढ्दै गर्नुहोस्। यहाँले कति एक्जाम्पल देख्नुहुन्छ। गर्दाखेरि सत्ययुग त्रेतातिरको एक्जाम्पल होइन, अहिले कलियुगकै एक्जाम्पलहरू हेर्न सक्नुहुन्छ दाहिनेमा। गर्दाखेरि भरपूर्ण लाभ उठाउनुहोस्। बाइजीलाई सहयोग गर्नुहोस्। प्रचार प्रसार हामी सबैले सहयोग गर्नुपर्छ हैन, बाइजीलाई प्रचारको लागि। अब बाइजी एक्लैले गरे हुने कुरो होइन नि त, यो त हैन, हामी सबैले गर्नुपर्छ यसमा प्रचार। गर्दाखेरि यहाँहरूलाई म यही शुभकामना दिँदै महाराजीलाई फेरि हैन महाराजीको अब हामी आगमनको लागि पर्खेका छौँ, बाइजीको सत्सङ्गको लागि पर्खेका छौँ। गर्दाखेरि यहाँहरूलाई कुनै असुविधा भयो भने त्यसको लागि हामी क्षमा प्रार्थी छौँ र यहाँहरूलाई फेरि पुनः धन्यवाद दिन चाहन्छु यस कार्यक्रममा आउनुभएको हुनाले। यहाँहरूलाई सधैँ शुभ रहोस् अनि ज्ञानको मार्गमा सधैँ सबै लागिरहनुहोस्। धन्यवाद। प्रेम चाहिँ भन्नुहोस् श्री सद्गुरुदेव भगवानको जय।
Thank you to Thapaji, and thank you to both our speakers, Cascade and Thapaji. Even if we don't understand what they say, it's quite clear their passion for this spiritual knowledge. And it goes to show that Manav Dharam is universal. There are no boundaries of language, of culture, of caste that prevent anybody from getting this spiritual knowledge. So thank you very much to both of you. We will now have a devotional song by Rohit Burma. Thank you.
बोलिए श्री सद्गुरुदेव महाराज की जय। परम श्रद्धेय जी विभू जी महाराज की जय। आटलो संदेशो मारा गुरु जी ने कहे जो। आटलो संदेशो मारा गुरु जी ने कहे जो। सेवक ना रुदिया मारे जोरे। सेवक ना रुदिया मारे जोरे। आटलो संदेशो मारा गुरु जी ने कहे जो। आटलो संदेशो मारा गुरु जी ने कहे जो। કાયાનું દેવળ અમને લાગે છે કાચું। લાગે છે કાચું। એની ભાડ વળી એની ભાડ વળી અમને દેજો રે। આટલો સંદેશો મારા ગુરુજી ને કહેજો। આટલો સંદેશો મારા ગુરુજી ને કહેજો। કાયા પડશે ને હંસો ક્યાં જઈ સમાશે। કાયા પડશે ને હંસો ક્યાં જઈ સમાશે। એ ઘર બતાવી અમને દેજો રે। દેજો રે। આટલો સંદેશો મારા ગુરુજીને કહેજો. તમે છો અમારા ને અમે તમારા. અમે તો તમારા. તમે છો અમારા ને અમે તો તમારા. જન્મ જન્મ ભેગા રે જોરે. જન્મ ભેગા રે જોરે. આટલો સંદેશો મારા મારા ગુરુજીને કહેજો. બ્રહ્મા સ્વરૂપ મારી નજર ના આવે. બ્રહ્મા સ્વરૂપે મારી નજર ના આવે. દર્શન દેતા અમને રહેજો રે. દર્શન દેતા અમને રહેજો રે. આટલો સંદેશો મારા ગુરુજીને કહેજો. આટલો સંદેશો મારા ગુરુજીને કહેજો. દાસ કર જોડી હરિ ગુરુ સંત ભક્તિનો માર્ગ અમને દેજો રે. ભક્તિનો માર્ગ અમને દેજો રે. આટલો સંદેશો મારા ગુરુજીને કહેજો. આટલો સંદેશો મારા ગુરુજીને કહેજો. સેવકના હૃદયા મારે જોરે. સેવકના હૃદયા મારે જોરે. આટલો સંદેશો મારા ગુરુજીને કહેજો. આટલો સંદેશો મારા ગુરુજીને કહેજો. બોલીએ શ્રી સદગુરુદેવ મહારાજ કી જય.
Thank you again. Just like to request that anyone that is able to seat, there is some space at the front if you're able to sit on the floor. It's lovely to see that this hall is filled up. There's also additional seating outside. And we will now hear from our resident Baiji, our resident priest, Mahatma Deepika Baiji. So after spending 3 years in Nepal and then India, she's now back with us for a few years. So we'd like to welcome her and thank you. And we'll hear from her now. Thank you, Baiji.
श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज बंदती करूं मैं जो विधि मिटे प्रकट विभो होय विमल मोती मोर बंदो गुरुपद कंज कृपा सिंधु नरो पारे महामोतम पुंज जा सुवचन रवि कर निकर। बोली आनंद कंद भगवान की जय। सद्गुरुदेव महाराज की जय। प्राणादर परमपिता परमात्मा सद्गुरुदेव श्री महाराज जी। और आज बड़ा ही खुशी का दिन है। करीबन हम लोग 3 साल के बाद फिर इस तरह श्री गुरु महाराज जी की श्री चरणों में बैठने का और सत्संग हासिल करने का अवसर मिला हुआ है। तो ये मौका हर कोई को सुलभ नहीं होता है। तो आप और हम लोग के ऊपर बड़ी गुरु महाराज जी की कृपा हुआ है। तो एक बार आप लोग प्रेम और जोश के साथ में जय घोष बोले, क्योंकि भगवान के जय घोष बोलने में देवी देवता खुश हो जाते हैं, भूत प्रेत भी प्रसन्न हो जाते हैं और हमारा भी आलस दूर हो जाता है। और जो हमारे जीवन के अंदर बताते हैं तो निंदा देवी जहाँ अच्छा बात होती है वहाँ सवार हो जाती हैं। तो इसीलिए आप लोग एक बार जोर के साथ में भगवान की जय घोष बोले। आनंद कंद भगवान की, सद्गुरुदेव महाराज की, परम पूज्य श्री विभू जी महाराज की। तो देखिए, तो श्री गुरु महाराज जी की असीम अनुकंपा दया से आप और हम लोग को करीबन 3 साल के बाद में दिव्य विभूति का दर्शन और सत्संग का लाभ होने जा रहा है। तो हमारे जीवन के अंदर बताया गया, शास्त्रों के अंदर, मानव जीवन के अंदर सत्संग बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है। तो इसीलिए कहा, संत सुंदरदास जी कहते हैं, संत समागम कीजिए तजे और उपाय, सुंदर बहुत उधारिये जो सत्संग में जाए। तो हमारे विगत संतों ने समझाने की प्रयास करी। तो कहा कि संत समागम कीजिए तजे और उपाय। तो भक्ति को अर्जित करने के लिए बहुत सारे उपाय हैं संसार के अंदर। हम लोग देखते हैं, कोई तीर्थ में जाकर के भक्ति को अर्जित करना चाहता है, कोई डोनेशन करके, दान करके भक्ति को अर्जित करना चाहता है, कोई भजन कीर्तन करके, नवराथा करके प्राप्त करना चाहते हैं, और कोई यज्ञ हवन करके। बहुत सारे सब्जेक्ट हैं भक्ति को अर्जित करने के लिए, और हम लोग सारे चीज को करते आते हैं। लेकिन सुंदरदास जी ने कहा, बहुत सारे उपाय हैं ये जीवन को उद्धार करने के लिए। लेकिन उन्होंने कहा, तो सारे चीज को छोड़ करके आप सत्संग में आओगे तो आपका जीवन उद्धार हो जाएगा, कल्याण हो जाएगा। और देखिए, और कल्याण और उद्धार हो जाएगा। अब एक बड़ा, जो कि एक बड़ी क्वेश्चन होता है, तो सत्संग में जाने से ही हमारा जीवन उद्धार हो जाएगा? तो जब हम क्वेश्चन रखेंगे सत्संग में जाकर के हमारा जीवन उद्धार हो जाएगा, तो नहीं। शास्त्र कहती है, सुनी समुजई जनित मुदित मन मजई अति अनुराग, लहई 4 फल अछत तनु साधु समाज पराग। तो हमारे ज्ञानी संतों ने कहा, सुनी समुजई, सुनना है कान से या मन से। तो कान से सुना हुआ, एक कान से सुनेंगे, दूसरा कान से निकल जाएगा। तो इसीलिए महाराज जी उदाहरण देते हैं ना, 3 मूर्ति का। महाराज जी उदाहरण देते हैं, एक ने सुना और एक से निकला, धागा डाला तो दायां से डाला, बाएं से निकल गया, और एक को दायां से डाला, मुख से निकल गया, और तीसरा का कान से डाला और अंदर घुस गया, तो उसका मूल्य ज्यादा था। तो कहने का मतलब, तो हमारे शास्त्रों में ये संकेत कर दिया, सुन करके समझना है सत्संग को, ऐसे तो आज देखिए दुनिया में, आप इंडिया के अंदर जाओगे और हमारे ब्रिटेन के अंदर भी, इंग्लैंड के अंदर भी कितने सारे टेम्पल है और कितने संघ संस्था है। कोई ऐसा फ्री नहीं है, हर कोई एक न एक संस्था से जुड़ा हुआ है और हर कोई अपना अपना मंदिर में, टेम्पल में सत्संग करने जाते हैं। तो 10 बहन लोग भगवान कृष्ण का फोटो लेकर के एक तरफ पूजा करती हैं, अपना वंदना करती हैं, दूसरे ग्रुप आते हैं दूसरे तरफ करते रहते हैं। अब देखिए एक भगवान की भक्ति अनेकों प्रकार से कर रहे हैं। तो इसीलिए तो इस तरह अनेकों प्रकार से लोग संसार के अंदर भक्ति करने की कमी नहीं है। तो इसीलिए हमारे शास्त्रों में बताया, सुनी समुझई, समझना है सत्संग को, ज्ञान को समझना है, ये जीवन को समझना है, सत्संग को समझना है। तो कहा सुनी समुझई जनित मुदित मना, बहुत ही बताया मन के अंदर इसको इतना विचार करना। तो आगे कहते हैं सुनी समुझई मुदित मना मज्जय अति अनुराग, बहुत जिज्ञासा होना चाहिए। ज्ञान लेते समय में जितना जिज्ञासा था उससे ज्यादा एक भक्तों को जिज्ञासा होना चाहिए। तो जब जिज्ञासा होगा तो आगे जाकर के कहते हैं, तो इतना आपके अंदर जिज्ञासा हो उसको जानने की, तो आपको जब वो जिज्ञासा के अंदर आप प्रवेश करोगे तो कहा लहई 4 फल अछत तनु, तो वहाँ 4 फल प्राप्त होता है। अभी सत्संग के बाद हम लोग को फ्रूट का प्रसाद मिलेगा, चॉकलेट तैयारी है, लड्डू आया हुआ है, भंडारा बना हुआ है कि नहीं, और फल फ्रूट है तो हमको वही मिलेगा। शायद महाराज जी हम लोग को एप्पल देंगे, बनाना देंगे या ग्रेप्स देंगे, है कि नहीं, ऑरेंज देंगे, नो। तो हमारे संतों ने कहा वो 4 फल है, अर्थ धर्म काम और मोक्ष। तो अब देखिए, तो हमारे जीवन में मोक्ष क्यों पाना है। तो एक बहन का मेरा फोन आया जर्मन से, आप लोग जानते भी हैं रमा बहन का। तो देखिए उनकी देवरानी थी, उनको कैंसर पेशेंट थे, उनका डेथ हो गया। अभी सरदे जी आने के दिन ही उनका शायद हुआ। तो सुबह फोन आया तो वो बता रही थी कि भाई जी तो ऐसा बैराग हुआ, शरीर से आत्मा निकलने के लिए इतना कष्ट होता है, मेरे हाथ में ही मेरे बहन का प्राण निकला। तो इसीलिए तो भगवान हमको चाहते ना ये कष्ट होगा, तो इसीलिए भगवान हम लोग को जन्म मरण से मुक्ति देने के लिए ही हमको उस ज्ञान दिया हुआ है। तो भगवान चाहते हम जन्म मरण के चक्कर, जन्म में भी उतना ही कष्ट है जैसे मृत्यु में हम लोग को 1000 बिच्छी से काटा हुआ कष्ट होता है, जन्म लेते भी माँ के गर्भ में एक शिशु को भी होता है, उतना ही माँ को भी होता है। तो बताया गया तो ये जन्म मरण का चक्कर बहुत मुश्किल है। तो इसीलिए भगवान ने कहा आपको 4 फल मिलेगा, अर्थ धर्म काम और मोक्ष। तो देखिए, तो ये 4 वस्तु जब हमारे जीवन में प्राप्त करने के लिए सत्संग सुन करके मनन करना पड़ेगा और उसके बाद में कर्म में उतारना पड़ेगा। और जब कर्म में उतारेंगे और उसके बाद में जा करके आप और हम लोग का जीवन उद्धार हो जाएगा, जन्म मरण के चक्कर से प्राप्त कर सकेंगे। तो ये एक हमारा सब्जेक्ट हो गया ईश्वर को पाने के लिए। अब देखिए, अब हमारे समाज में ईश्वर को कहाँ ढूंढे, ईश्वर को कहाँ पाए। तो संत ब्रह्मानंद जी एक भजन के माध्यम से समझाना चाहते हैं। तो मैं आप लोगों के बीच में भजन रख करके अपने विचार को आगे रखूंगी। आप लोग थोड़ी देर धैर्य धारण होकर के एकाग्र चित्त होकर के सत्संग को श्रवण करें। बोलिए आनंद कंद भगवान की जय। बोलिए आनंद कंद भगवान की जय। सद्गुरुदेव महाराज की जय। ईश्वर को जानो बंदे, मालिक तेरा वही है। ईश्वर को जानो बंदे, मालिक तेरा वही है। ईश्वर को जानो बंदे, मालिक तेरा वही है। कर ले तो याद दिल से, हर जा में वो सही है। कर ले तो याद दिल से,
तेरा वही है, ईश्वर को जान बंदे। मालिक तेरा वही है, ईश्वर को जान बंदे।
बोलिए आनंद कंद भगवान की जय। तो सज्जनों, तो मैं आप लोग को समझा रही थी भक्ति करने की अनेकों उपाय हैं और जीवन कल्याण करने के लिए, जीवन की उद्धार करने के लिए, जीवन को मुक्ति पाने के लिए सत्संग हमारे जीवन में इम्पोर्टेंट है। और जब हम सत्संग में जाएंगे तो आगे बताया हमारे जीवन के अंदर कि वो ईश्वर को हम कहाँ ढूंढे, तो हमारे शास्त्रों के अंदर अंकित किया और संत ब्रह्मानंद जी कहते हैं भजन के माध्यम से, ईश्वर को जानो बंदे, मालिक तेरा वही है, कर ले तो याद दिल से, हर जगह में वो सही है। तो कहने का मतलब आप और हम लोग को ये भजन से पता चला भगवान ओमनी प्रेजेंट है, सभी जगह में है ना, और सभी जगह में है और बताया, और इवन मनुष्य के अंदर भी है, जिसके लिए कहा ईश्वर को जाना बंदे। ईश्वर कहने का मतलब ये शोर में जो बोलने वाला एनर्जी है ना, शक्ति है ना, वही ईश्वर हमारे जीवन में बताया, ईश्वर। तो हमारे शोर में बैठने वाले ईश्वर को पाने के लिए कभी कहते हैं कोई पूरब में जा रहे हैं, कोई पश्चिम, कोई उत्तर दिशा में जा रहे हैं, लेकिन तन का खबर नहीं है। तो इसीलिए हम लोग भजन भी गाते हैं और इस जो कि हम लोग कहते हैं, जो कि हम भजन में भी गाते हैं, ईश्वर हमारे अंदर ही है। और वो ईश्वर को किसने पहचाना, तो हमारे विगत भक्तों ने पहचाना, और वो भक्तों का नाम आता है, अभी अभी हमारे गुरु भाई ने समझाया, जो कि संत ज्ञानेश्वर का। और संत ज्ञानेश्वर का शिष्य वो हम पाते हैं नामदेव। नामदेव ने भगवान को कैसे प्राप्त किया और भगवान को कैसे पहचाना, तो भगवान उनके पास कुत्ते के रूप में आए। नामदेव जी रोटी बना रहे थे, मैं कथा के और नहीं जाऊंगी, आपको पॉइंट बता रही हूँ क्योंकि टाइम पूरा हो रहे हैं। तो देखिए, तो भगवान कुत्ते के रूप में आए, नामदेव रोटी बना रहे थे, तो भगवान रोटी लेकर के भागने लगे। तो नामदेव जी कहते हैं, प्रभु सूखे रोटी मत ले जाओ। नामदेव ने पकाई रोटी कुत्ते ने उठाई, पीछे घी की कटोरी ले जा रहे हैं, प्रभु सूखी तो न खाओ, थोड़ा घी तो लेते जाओ, क्यों रूप मुझसे छुपा रहे हैं। तो देखिए, तो बताया गया कि उनके आगे जब भगवान जो कि एक कुत्ते के रूप में भी आए, तो देखिए नामदेव ने भगवान को पहचाना। तो आज हमारे जीवन के अंदर भी भगवान प्रकट हो जाए तो कोई पहचाने वाला हमारे पास नेत्र है, तो नेत्र नहीं है, तो इसीलिए हम लोग कंफ्यूज हैं। तो इसीलिए हमारे जीवन में सत्संग में आना जरूरी है। तो सत्संग में आएंगे तो हमको नेत्र मिलेगा। तो इसीलिए हमारे ज्ञानी संतों ने कहा, तो वो नेत्र में, जो कि नेत्र को पाने के लिए मन कहाँ से हटाना पड़ेगा। कवि ने कहा, विषय से मन को हटा ले, प्रभु चरणों में मन को लगा ले। तो देखिए, विषय के मन के अंदर हम लोग आए हुए थे, और जिसके कारण आप और हम लोग भगवान से दूर थे। और जिस दिन विषय से मन को हटाया, तो आज हम लोग यहाँ गुरु महाराज जी के चरणों में हैं। तो इसीलिए मैं आप सभी से अर्जी करना चाहती हूँ, ये अवसर हर कोई को प्राप्त नहीं होता है। भगवान ने सभी को बनाया, अर्थात आर्थ जिज्ञासो ज्ञानी। भगवान कहते हैं जिज्ञासा भी मेरा ही भक्त है, अर्थात ये आर्थ भी मेरा ही भक्त है। संकट के घड़ी में याद करने वाले और धन को पाने के लिए याद करने वाले भक्त भी। तो देखिए, तो हम लोग अभी 2-3 साल के अंदर ऐसे कोविड के अंदर हम लोग ऐसी अवस्था में थे, तो उस टाइम हम सब कोई भगवान को याद कर रहे थे। तो देखिए, तो संकट के घड़ी में हम लोग सब कोई याद कर रहे थे। तो इसीलिए हमारे जीवन के अंदर बताया, तो वो भी मेरा भक्त है। लेकिन भगवान कहते हैं अर्थात आर्थ जिज्ञासों में सबसे प्रिय कौन है, ज्ञानी भक्त हैं। तो आज कलिकाल के अंदर आप और हम लोग को वो अध्यात्म ज्ञान देकर गुरु महाराज जी ने ज्ञानी बनाया हुआ है, और ज्ञानी आप और हमको होना है। और ज्ञानी होने के लिए आप और हम लोग को मेडिटेशन करना है, ध्यान करना है, और गुरु महाराज जी ने जो दिया हुआ ज्ञान के गहराई में आप और हम लोग को जाना है। तो देखिए, ये ऐसे युग है जहाँ पर आप और हम लोग विज्ञान ने विकास किया हुआ समय में है। जैसे कि किसी ने मेरे को एक क्वेश्चन किया, तो बोलने लगे भाई जी अभी आप अकेले यूके में कैसे रहते हैं? तो देखिए, मैंने बताया तो सत्संग चलता है मेरा, जो कि सैटरडे संडे सत्संग चलता है। कभी कभी भक्त लोग मेरे को मंदिर में ले जाते हैं। बाकी तो आप सभी को पता है, टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ हम जुड़े हुए हैं, है ना, डिजिटल के अंदर घुसे हुए हैं। तो भाई मेरे को कहने लगा, तो पहले एक भक्त ने क्वेश्चन किया, भगवान जो कि भक्तों के साथ में कौन रहता है? तो कहा भगवान का नाम और रूप, और इंसान का नाम और रूप। हम जहाँ जाएंगे मेरा नाम भी जाएगा, मेरा रूप भी आएगा, है कि नहीं? नाम अकेला नहीं जा सकता है, रूप अकेला नहीं सकता है, ये दोनों साथ में होता है। और दूसरा तो कहने लगा, आपका परछाई आपको कभी नहीं छोड़ती, साथ में रहती है कि नहीं? और तीसरा तो वो मोबाइल फोन है, आपका सब कुछ छूटेगा लेकिन मोबाइल फोन नहीं छूटेगा, वो आपका साथ रहेगा। तो देखिए, तो उसमें भी गहराई है। जिस तरह मोबाइल फोन हमारे पास है, तो उसमें आप और हम लोग इंटरनेट कनेक्ट किया हुआ है, तो हम दुनिया से बात कर सकते हैं, दुनिया को देख सकते हैं। और इंटरनेट कनेक्ट ना हो तो हम कनेक्ट नहीं हो सकते हैं। तो ऐसे ही इंटरनेट नंबर चाहिए, आपको वाईफाई चाहिए। ऐसे ही हमारे जीवन में भी कहा कि वो भगवान रूपी इंटरनेट तो सर्वव्यापक है, ओमनी प्रेजेंट है, और उसको कनेक्ट होने के लिए साधु महात्मा के पास में जा करके कनेक्ट होने वाला नंबर लेंगे, तो हम इंग्लैंड में बैठ के भी भगवान का दर्शन कर सकेंगे। तो इसीलिए आए आप और हम लोग, श्री गुरु महाराज जी की दया से ये अवसर मिला हुआ है। हम लोग आज परम पूज्य श्री विभू जी महाराज का दिव्य दर्शन और सत्संग का लाभ उठाने का अवसर मिला हुआ है। देखिए, गुरु महाराज जी की कृपा से फिर मैं आप लोग की प्यार से दोबारा फिर मैं आपके बीच में पहुंची हूँ। तो आप सभी से मेरा रिक्वेस्ट है, तो आप लोग जरूर सत्संग रखें, और आप लोग सत्संग को आप लोग अटेंड करें, क्योंकि सत्संग ही एक ऐसा वर्षा है, हमारा मन निर्मल होता है सत्संग से। जब मन निर्मल होता है तभी आप ध्यान कर पाओगे, मेडिटेशन कर पाओगे। जब मेडिटेशन करोगे और उसके बाद में ज्ञान अनुभव होगा, जब ज्ञान अनुभव होगा तभी आपको कीमत पता लगेगा, वो ज्ञान कितना कीमत है, और गुरु महाराज जी की रूप को भी पता चलेगा। तो इसीलिए मैं आप सभी से अर्जी रखते हुए, अपने विचारों को आगे बढ़ते हुए मैं रखना चाहती हूँ, क्योंकि हम सब टाइम में बंधे हुए हैं, है ना। टाइम पूरा होते ही हमको यहाँ से जाना है, तो हम संसार में भी ऐसे आए हुए हैं। तो देखिए, अभी हम लोग ऐसे समय आया, हम एक दूसरे से मिल ही नहीं सकते थे, है कि नहीं। तो एक समय ऐसा था, हम भक्त लोग को आओ आओ आश्रम में बोलते थे, और एक समय ऐसा भी आया, मत आओ मत आओ, अभी मत आओ। तो देखिए, ऐसा दिन हमने सोचा था कभी आएगा, नहीं आएगा। तो इसीलिए गुरु महाराज जी ने पहले हमको ज्ञान दिया था ध्यान करने के लिए। तो हमने तो ध्यान का आदत जिसने डाला हुआ था उसको मुश्किल नहीं हुआ, जिसने नहीं डाला था उसको मुश्किल हुआ। तो इसीलिए हम खूब भजन सुमिरन करें और सेवा सत्संग दर्शन करते हुए जीवन को आगे बढ़ाएं। बोले आनंद कंद भगवान की, परम पूज्य श्री विभू जी महाराज की।
Gurudev Maharaj ki jai. Thank you, Bhaiji, for that insightful message. We'll now have a devotional song by Pritam Gurung.
धर्म सद्गुरुदेव महाराज की जय, आनंद कंद भगवान की जय। कृष्णजीको पालीमा आउँछु भन्थे कलियुगमा उहिले कृष्णजीको पालीमा आउँछु भन्थे कलियुगमा हे कलियुगका प्राणी हम आए कि आएन खोजौँ न 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 भगवान खोज्ने हो भने शास्त्र पढ्दा हुँदैन भगवान खोज्ने हो भने शास्त्र पढ्दा हुँदैन लिनु पर्छ आत्मा ज्ञान सद्गुरु शरणमा परेर सद्गुरु शरणमा परेर सद्गुरु शरणमा परेर सद्गुरु शरणमा परेर पालीमा लक्ष्मणजीलाई ज्ञान दिएछन् उहिले रामको पालीमा लक्ष्मणजीलाई ज्ञान दिएछन् राम र कृष्ण युग युगको अवतार भनी मानिन्छ अवतार भनी मानिन्छ अवतार भनेर मानिन्छ अवतार भनेर मानिन्छ उहिले यीशुको पालीमा ज्ञान प्रचार गरेछन् उहिले यीशुको पालीमा ज्ञान प्रचार गरेछन् हरेक युगमा भगवान मानव भएर आएछन् मानव भएर आएछन् मानव भएर आएछन् मानव भएर आएछन् उहिले कृष्णजीको पालीमा आउँछु भन्थे कलियुगमा उहिले कृष्णजीको पालीमा आउँछु भन्थे कलियुगमा हे कलियुगका प्राणी हो आए कि आएन खोजौँ न 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 आनंद कंद भगवान की कृष्ण कन्हैया लाल की जय रमाइलो दिन आयो सद्गुरुलाई भेट्न पायो रमाइलो दिन आयो सद्गुरुलाई भेट्न पायो खुसीको दिन आयो सत्यको ज्ञान पायो खुसीको दिन आयो प्रेम से बोले श्री विभू जी महाराज की जय चार युग चार सखी माता जी ले ल्याए चार युग चार सखी माता जी ले ल्याए भटकिएका आत्माले ज्ञान भोजन पाए भटकिएका आत्माले ज्ञान भोजन पाए रमाइलो दिन आयो सद्गुरुलाई भेट्न पायो खुसीको दिन आयो विभूतिको दर्शन पायो प्रभुलाई चिन्नलाई खान कपट छाड प्रभुलाई चिन्नलाई छाल कपट छाड कलिकाको पापदेखि हुन जान्छ पार कलिकाको पापदेखि हुन जान्छ पार प्रभु शरणमा आई आनन्दको गीत गाऊ प्रभु शरणमा आई आनन्दको गीत गाऊ रमाइलो दिन आयो सद्गुरुलाई भेट्न पायो खुसीको दिन आयो विभुजीको दर्शन पायो खुसीको दिन आयो विभुजीको दर्शन पायो खुसीको दिन आयो विभुजीको दर्शन पायो खन्न भगवान की जय ब्रह्म सदस्य श्री विभूजी महाराज की जय
Shri Vibhuji Maharaj ki jai. Sadgurudev Maharaj ki. Shri Vibhuji Maharaj, after 3 very long years, it's an honor and a privilege to be able to welcome you to the UK again. We are truly honored to be in the presence of someone with such spiritual rich heritage. And to open today's function, we humbly request that you light the candle as a symbol of the light of knowledge dispelling the darkness of ignorance. This will be accompanied by a performance by our young talents led by Mansi Patel and Shlok Makwana. And Mansi Patel has actually composed this song, so enjoy.
प्रेम से बोलो श्री सद्गुरुदेव महाराज की जय। गुरु Guru is my light, Guru is my heart, Guru is the player of all the minds. Guru is my light, Guru is my heart, Guru is the player of all the minds. Guru is my love, Guru is my heart, Guru is the player of all my life. Guru is my light, Guru is my heart, Guru is the savior of all my life. Guru is my light, Guru is my heart, Guru is the savior of all my life. Guru, you are sweet, you make my heart beat, you are the only one I like. Om Guru Dev, Jaya Guru Dev, Shri Guru Dev, Sada Guru Dev. Om Guru Dev, Jaya Guru Dev, Shri Guru Dev, Sada Guru Dev. Guru is my life, Guru is my soul, we bow to your lotus feet I like. Guru is my life, Guru is my soul, we bow to your lotus feet I like. Guru is divine, Guru you are mine, Guru is eternal lover I like. Guru is divine, Guru you are mine, Guru is eternal lover I like. Guru is my love, Guru is my heart, Guru is the player of all my life. Guru is my strength, Guru is my health, Guru is the giver of truth I like. Guru is my strength, Guru is my health, Guru is the giver of truth I like. Om Guru Dev, Jaya Guru Dev, Shri Guru Dev, Sate Guru Dev. Om Guru Dev, Jaya Guru Dev, Shri Guru Dev, Sate Guru Dev. प्रेम से बोलिए श्री सतगुरुदेव महाराज की जय.
Please give these young talents another round of applause. Thank you very much. I'd now like to request the Secretary of Manav Dharam Society UK, Sanjay Makwana, to come up and say a few words.
Shri Sadgurudev Maharaj ki jai. Dear respected Bhaiji, Premis old and new, distinguished guests, and all truth seekers who have travelled far and wide, thank you for joining us today, and Jai Shri Sachidanand, and welcome. As I was introduced, my name is Sanjay Makwana. I'm the Secretary for Manav Dharam UK. And here I have Shlok. He's one of the Manav Dharam rock stars. He's going to help me today with my welcome speech.
On behalf of Manav Dharam Society UK, I have like to welcome you all in joining us in our program of an insight into spirituality.
I would also like to welcome the viewers who are watching online from far and wide. I've received many messages about when is it starting and everything, so I know you all are there, and we recognize you watching, so thank you very much. After a very long wait, it seems like eternity, but sometimes it feels like we only met yesterday. It's with great pleasure we welcome Shri Vibhu Ji Maharaj. From Manav Dharam Society UK committees, members and the UK Premis, we thank you, Shri Vibhu Ji Maharaj, for blessing us with your presence of enlightenment in spreading the word of peace, truth and self-realization.
We have had many difficult times these last few years, and now it can only get better.
Prem se boliye Shri Vibhu Ji Maharaj ki jai. Satgurudev Shri Satpalji Maharaj is our spiritual master of our parent organization, Manav Uttam Seva Samiti, and our other sister organizations across the world, which include Australia, Kenya, Nepal, Mauritius, South Africa, Orlando, Canada, Mexico, and obviously India, and many more to come. Sri Satpalji Maharaj is a multi-dimensional personality. He is a humanist, social activist, a reformer serving humankind. He is primarily a spiritual scientist and an enlightened teacher. He wants to bring about peaceful spiritual revolution in the human consciousness, hoping to transform society to enlighten man and the universe in building a better place for all of us. Manav Dharam is not a religion. It includes the teachings of all religions as guidance of a way of being a better person by knowing thyself.
We also learn to sing bhajan, devoted songs, play musical instruments, seva our scriptural stories, understanding our culture, and making friends with like-thinking people.
Shri Vibhuji Maharaj is the eldest son of and disciple of Sri Satpalji Maharaj, who continues to promote the message of Sadbhavna, which is goodwill, by using science and explanations of answering our inner questions of spirituality. An example of the efforts Manav Dharam is one of the ongoing projects, Mission Education, which is currently running in Nepal, India, Kenya, South Africa, and similar programs in Mexico. Mission Education is a project to provide educational opportunities to disadvantaged children. In December 2018, it was declared Manav Uttam Seva Samiti now hold a Guinness World Record for the largest donations of school supplies in 24 hours.
And here in the UK, we struggled to have a pizza delivery in 30 minutes.
Mission Education have also commissioned a School on Wheels initiative, which goes into the deprived areas, providing children with teaching to nourish their minds and snacks to nourish their empty stomachs.
This is one of the reasons we are proud to be part of Manav Dharam's worldwide family.
And finally, I would like to thank all the volunteers for the hard work and efforts in the preparation for today's program and activities ongoing throughout the year. This includes the webcasting team, the catering team, the decoration team, the information team, the admin team, and everyone who's dedicated seva in some form, whether actually or behind the scenes. Thank you very much. And finally, I would like to remember all our loved ones who are not here with us here today. We've had difficult times and we can only continue going forward. Just to say, you're always with us, always remembered and never forgotten.
You may also wish to support or sponsor our Manav Dharam Rockstars in our kids' activities.
Once again, on behalf of Manav Dharam Society, thank you everyone for attending, and please do not leave without darshan and prasad. Please enjoy the program. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sanjay and Shlok Makwana, for that speech. Now going to call upon the following names to come and welcome Shri Vibhuji Maharaj with a garland. So if I call your name forward, please come to the front. So we have Manav Dharam trustee, Mrs. Veena Vora and Sagarbai Vora. Mr. and Mrs. Gavi and Chandni Nanda. Mr. Pravesh Katawal from London, and Mr. Gopal Gupta from Europe. Just goes forward here. Come forward, bring it forward. Sanam Bandari from Ireland. Mrs. Shushila Gurung, who's the Vice Chair of South London Gurkha Association. Gyan Rai from Farnborough. Akash Gurung from London. Rushi Patel from Surat. Gitesh Patel from Oxford. Komal Mandalia from Leicester. Pritam Gurung from Camberley. Naina Wagela from Canada. Monica Chetri from London. Bhagavati Sharma from London. Parvati Gurung from London. Mr. Sharma from India. Mr. and Mrs. Jagdish Pai from Leicester. Mr. Hardik Patel, who from Gujarat, the secretary of the Hindu Mahasabha in Gujarat state. And Milan Nanda from London. Milan Nanda from London. We'll now have a performance by Vani and then a devotional song by our young rock stars talent. So please enjoy, and this will be followed by our main part of today's event. Thank you very much, Vani. Wonderful performance, and I know we're all eagerly awaiting to hear the insightful message of Shri Vibhuji Maharaj. Before we do that, we have the next generation of Manav Dharam Society who have been working tirelessly and taken Zoom by storm over the last few years and practicing their bhajans, their performances with the help of their parents. So we would like to welcome them up to share a devotional song. We have Vaishnavi Ishan and Rohan Patel, Riva Vagela, Shlok and Shivang, Makwana, Hetal and Mansi and Hansal Patel, Daniel and Raymond Chetri, Harkishan and Harshan, Burma, Sanay Aryan and Naya Shah. And I apologize if I can't see anyone else, but you've all amazing, so please enjoy this wonderful performance.
प्रेम से बोलो श्री सद्गुरुदेव महाराज की जय। आते हैं जग में महापुरुष सोए हमें जीव जगाने, भव सागर पार लगाने, भव सागर पार लगाने। जन्मों से बिछड़ी रूहों को मालिक के संग मिलाते, मालिक के संग मिलाते। कष्टाने का सहन करके जीवों के कष्ट मिटाते, जीवों के कष्ट मिटाते। वर्षा करके है भक्ति की हमें शीतल शांत कराने, भव सागर पार लगाने, भव सागर पार लगाने। भक्ति क्या है, माया क्या है, ये वेद हमें समझाते, ये वेद हमें समझाते। किस कारण जीव यहाँ आया, ये राज हमें बतलाते, ये राज हमें बतलाते। देते सुंदर उपदेश यहाँ भक्ति का पाद दर्शाने, भव सागर पार लगाने, भव सागर पार लगाने। होता है उनका ये फल, जीवों को सदा जगाना, जीवों को सदा जगाना। घट घट में लगाने, भव सागर पार लगाने, भव सागर पार लगाने। आते हैं जग में महापुरुष सोए हुए जीव जगाने, भव सागर पार लगाने, भव सागर पार लगाने, भव सागर पार लगाने, भव सागर पार लगाने। प्रेम से बोलो श्री सद्गुरुदेव महाराज की जय।
Please give another round of applause to these young talents. Come forward and get darshan. And the opportunity now has come before us for the main event to hear the Shri Vibhu Maharaj's message. So I hope everyone here is switch their phones off, put them on silent, can give their full concentration and attention with an open heart and an open mind. Listen to his wise words. Another round of applause for the children. Well done.
प्रेमले मनुष्य सद्गुरुदेव महाराज की जय, अन्नकंद भगवान की जय। जय राजेश्वरी माता माता, जय राजेश्वरी माता। भक्तों की हो भाग्य विधाता, भक्तों की हो भाग्य विधाता, जय राजेश्वरी माता माता, जय राजेश्वरी माता। ओ माता जय राजेश्वरी कर दे प्रकाशित जीवन पथ को, तेरी कृपा की ज्योति हो माँ, तेरी कृपा की ज्योति सदा लुटाती रहती हो माँ, वरदानों कर जाए वो जोड़ ले जो भी चरण कमल से नाता माता जय राजेश्वरी माता ओ माता जय राजेश्वरी माता प्राणी का पल लोक सुधारे माता तेरा दर्शन हो माँ माता तेरा दर्शन लोक बनाए इस जीवन में एक ही पल का चिंतन हो माँ एक ही पल का चिंतन तेज प्रकाशिनी सती स्वरूपा तेज प्रकाशिनी सती स्वरूपा तुम हो मुक्ति दाता माता जय राजेश्वरी माता ओ माता जय राजेश्वरी माता तेरी पूजा काए माता दीप जले दिन रात हो माँ दीप जले दिन रात भांति का खेल अलंकृत जिसमें श्रद्धा की है बात हो माँ श्रद्धा की है बात तेरा मंदिर जगवालों की तेरा मंदिर जगवालों की मन को सदा लुभाता माता जय राजेश्वरी माता ओ माता जय राजेश्वरी माता ओ माता जय राजेश्वरी माता जगजन श्री माता जी की जय हम सदस्य विभू जी महाराज की जय
Dear Premies, respected Baiji, and all the seekers of truth that are gathered here today, welcome and thank you for being here. I'm a little emotional and very, very happy to be able to see everyone after 3 years. And during this time, this pandemic era, it has been a difficult time, not only for all of us, but for the whole world. There has been so much of loss, so much of pain, so much of suffering, and so much of fear of just simply living, that when we were going through all these ups and downs of life, we would never hope that things would return to normal, because the overwhelming or the overpowering emotion was just doubt whether things will go back to normal again. But when I'm here and the opportunity to meet everyone and see everyone, what I see here is a victory for the human spirit, that despite everything that we've gone through, we are here today, we are together, we are safe, And that itself is a very beautiful thing. Since time immemorial, we have tried to answer this basic question as to why we exist. So man's search for its existence or the meaning of its existence has been eternal. But when we try to see how we try to experience our existence, there are two fundamental points that life rotates around. One is the absolute truth that you are born into, and one is the truth that the world gives us. Now, the world itself is separated in what we call duality. In Ramcharitmanas, Lord Ram very beautifully speaks about what is the illusion of the world and what is the attachment of the world, moh or mithya. And he says that how does duality comes into existence, how does attachment come into existence, and out of that attachment, how does the illusion or what we are seeking comes into existence. So he says within every consciousness, when the ego manifests itself, it manifests itself as an I individuality. When I say I, me, myself, that is the first manifestation of ego. Out of that manifestation of ego, when I say I, then I will divide the world into what is mine and what is yours. The moment this happens, and it happens to all of us, because our individual identities are distinct divisions of ourselves. I live in so-and-so place, I work in so-and-so place, my name is so-and-so. So all our worldly divisions are very distinctive. So Lord Ram says that the moment I manifest in yourself, you will start segregating the world. And this segregation of the world between mine and yours is an illusion. Because all things exist in the supreme oneness. But we cannot see that. Why? Because our vision, our optics are hampered by the self-identity we have created through the ego. Now, the question obviously remains that this is a problem. But what is the solution? Because all throughout our lives, it's very easy to identify our problems. It is very easy to identify our shortcomings. Is it very easy to identify sort of what is limiting me in experiencing myself? I know my anger, I know my pride, I know what irritates me, what distracts me in life. But how do I change that? And out of everything negative that I'm experiencing in life, how can I bring a positive change in my life? Now, this is the way of living. And this is what Guru Maharaj Ji through Manav Dharam tries to teach us. That within all of us is a beautiful expression of ourselves, which is our consciousness, which is pure, which we call Chit or Chaitanya. Now, this is our absolute reality. But through this consciousness, what happens is that we start choosing or making choices in the world or judging the world in distinctions. So what happens, like Descartes said, he was a very ancient Greek philosopher. He said that what is the basis of consciousness in a person? What is the proof of consciousness in a person? So he very beautifully said, I think, therefore I am. My existence is based on my consciousness. If I can think, if I can imagine, that means I'm a conscious being. If there is no thought in me, if there is no movement of the mind in me, then do I exist? So, distinctively, our Vedas explain to us that a human being or a human life is focused primarily on three factors. First is the vak. Vak means your body. We cannot exist without a body. Next is to control the body, which we call the Gyanendris and the Karmendris, the functioning of the body. How does the body function? Through its senses and through action. But how is this controlled? So there is an aspect within us which is a little greater than the body, which comes to our mind, is the man. Now, how is the man itself comes into existence? So obviously in scriptures it is again and again told us that we are not only the mind and the body, we are not only the flesh and the thoughts that we think, but there is a hidden power in us which enables the process of thinking, which enables the process of action, which enables the body to perform. And that aspect is a little greater than the mind. And when we go to that realm, then we enter the realm of consciousness, is your Chaitanya. So mind, body and spirit is what makes a human life possible. Now it's very easy to focus on the body. Why? Because body is very physical. We know the changes our body goes through. We know what the body likes or dislikes. If it gets suddenly very cold here, immediately we'll wear warm clothes to keep our body warmer and safer. If it gets very hot, we'll discard those warm clothes and we'll keep the body cool. So the changes in the body are very physical and immediately identified with, and that is why everyone wants to live a very healthy life, so we can live a longer life, we can experience more of this world, we can share experiences with our loved ones of this world. But we see that the body is the only factor in our life that is always deteriorating. I mean, if you see, life gives us beautiful gifts when we are born. It gives us the gift of youth. It gives us the gift of energy. You see, children are always running around and parents are always complaining that, oh, he's got too much of energy, we have to keep on running behind him. But what has happened? That the parent was also once a child who had that same energy. But now the parent has become an older man. And as age has set in, slowly our joints hurt. Slowly our physical capacity to run or to exert energy is not the same. And slowly we see that how the wear and tear of the body is also a cause of suffering in our life. Yeah. Then the mind obviously is very easy to adapt to, because all of us have been utilizing our mind from the time we are born, through our likes, through our dislikes, through our choices, through our judgments. And every emotion that comes through us, or every experience or expression of an experience, whether we like it or dislike it, is all manifested within the mind. So to identify ourselves with the mind and the body is very easy, because we are constantly doing it in our lives, every moment. But to experience your consciousness, your Chaitanya, your spirit, becomes a little difficult. Why? Because a body can be kept in a room, a body can be physically felt, a body can be seen, touched, experienced. A mind can be experienced through our conversations. We meet a person who is very knowledgeable. We feel very humbled in front of him by just talking to the person. So we can see there is an exchange of energies through the mind also, through conversations, through experiences. But when it comes to the experience of the spirit, it becomes very difficult. Can I see the spirit? Can I touch it? Can I hold it? But the spirit is the powering factor through which the mind and the body function. And this we realize when the moment of our last breath comes. Because in our scriptures it is very simply said that there will come a time when you will have to leave this world, and that time you will realize the importance of breath. So our fundamental experience is based through our consciousness, but the consciousness is never experienced. Why? Because the mind is so overpowering with its ego that the mind judges and the mind chooses. So this judgment has to be removed. Now it is very difficult to do so, because we are all habitual beings. We are beings that are very tuned to our habits. Something that we do again and again, we find comfort in it, we find security in it, even if those repetition of things are causing us to be suffering in some way or stagnant in some way. Because we are in a comfort zone, because we keep on experiencing the same thing again and in the hope that the same experiences will give us stability. But life is not meant to be stagnant. There's a very beautiful saying by a philosopher. Someone asked the philosopher that what is the meaning, what is the reason of living? Why does life exist? What is the reason of living? So he simply said the reason of living is to live. We are born into this world to experience different emotions, to laugh and to cry, to meet someone and to be separated from someone. These are all parts of life. And you cannot stagnate it. You cannot say, oh, I have had this experience. oh, this laddu is very good. For the rest of my life, I'll only have laddus and not nothing else. For sure, you can do that if you don't end up with diabetes or even greater diseases than that or problems than that. But the fact is that the first time I had a laddu, I had a very beautiful sensation. Now I want to repeat that sensation in life. So I think all the happiness is in laddus only. But if I keep on eating laddus, maybe the halwa will feel bad, maybe the barfi will feel bad, and I am limiting myself from different experiences that can give me the same amount of happiness. But this is how the mind operates, because the mind function is to think. The mind's function is to move. And sometimes we are moving within ourselves as to only satisfy ourselves through repetition. But life is not meant to be repeated. Life has to be meant to be lived from moment to moment. Some moments can be nice, some moments can be pleasant, some moments can bring transformative reforms in us through our suffering. If you see the lives of great masters, it's not that no great master who has come into this world to give a message, to cause a change, has not suffered at the hands of the society at that point of time. Jesus Christ was crucified. The Daso Badshahs, which we say, the 10 Sikh Gurus, 5 of the last Sikh Gurus fought in battles. They became militarized. Why? Because there was oppression at that time by the people. So if you see Lord Ram, where he had to be crowned as the king of Ayodhya, he was sent for a 14-year exile. Lord Krishna himself was born in a prison and in such a state where all his siblings are killed. And we all know the story. We all just celebrated Janmashtami. And we all know how Krishna ji was smuggled out of the prison, taken to Vrindavan. And then slowly, like his life was hidden. But then slowly, all atrocities and different demons tried to attack him when he was young. So if you see, the journey of life of great masters is not very different from journeys of individuals that we are. We all are struggling in some way or the other. We all are suffering in some way or the other. The only difference is we believe our suffering to be true and permanent. We think that we cannot change or the change is not meant for us. But the masters believe that through understanding yourself, there can be tremendous change no matter how you are experiencing life. And that's the hope that Lord Ram had when he set out into the jungles without anything. It's not that he was not scared. So there is a very beautiful story that Lord Ram, just before he was going to exile, he went to his mother and he bowed to his mother's feet and he said that, a lot of people think that I'm very courageous to do such a thing, to take up such a vow. But internally, even I have doubt. I don't have doubt in what I'm doing, but I know that maybe living a life of suffering, I might have doubt in what I'm doing, maybe not today, but maybe tomorrow. Maybe 5 years down into my vow, because it's a 14-year vow that I have to take of leaving Ayodhya. So maybe in 5 years or 10 years of constant suffering or constant wandering, I might doubt whether I'd taken a right decision or not. I might have feelings that I want to go back and break my vow, come back to Ayodhya. But mother, I want you to give me some words of wisdom that whenever I have doubt in my mind, I can remember your words and I can strengthen my resolve and I can continue with the vow that I've taken, that I can fulfill my father's vow, his promise. So Ma Kaushalya only says one thing, that Lord Ram always remember Dharmo Rakshatihi Rakshataha. 3 very simple words she said, which means always protect Dharma and Dharma will protect you. Now this itself is a very esoteric and a very deep thought. When we live into this world, we live with so much expectations. Expectations come out of what? Our own mind, our own judgments of this world. When we make choices on what pleases us. I like an apple, someone else will like a mango. There's prasad today, there will be some sweet served. If the sweet is not what you like, it does not make the prasad bad. It does not make the bhandara bad. But what happens is, the moment we do not get what we want, there is a bitterness that comes within us. And this bitterness we hold on to. And that is why life is not a journey of, pleasing moments or having new experiences. Life becomes a repetitive action of just having your regrets and having what was not given to you in life. And we remember only those things. And it happens. Very small example. If I would ask the children sitting here, a simple fact, what do you want to do? Each child will give me a different version of what he wants to become. Someone would want to become a pilot, someone want to become an astronaut, someone want to become a doctor. And the beauty is, as they're experiencing life, these wants and their ambitions will keep on changing. Today I want to be a doctor, tomorrow I meet a pilot, then I want to become a pilot. Tomorrow I meet someone who's impressed me, I want to become like him. So a child is living his life with what? With full expectations of living, of experiencing things. Now you fast forward anyone's lifestyle and you come to older people like us. We become so set in our ways that if you ask an old person, what do you want to do? He's not going to tell you what he wants to live for. He's going to tell you all his regrets. Arey beta, I could have done this in life, but I couldn't do it. Arey, I could have gone here. I could have also become a doctor, but I didn't study, so I didn't become a doctor. So what happens in us is that slowly, as we are living life, we are getting so set in our ways and that we have forgotten to experience life. And we are just repeating our insecurities, repeating our fears, and we are living under the shadow of them. Now this has to break, and this can only break when we understand the importance of your breath and the importance of the present moment. The present moment only exists, and this is our reality. Many sages have tried to explain in very different ways that why a person should be alive in this present moment. But who is alive in this present moment? Very few people. Because as we keep on living our life, we live our life with what? Regrets or with desires. Desires of what things might come, what the future holds. But we don't know what our future holds. People have gone to bed preparing, holidays and preparing different experiences, journeys of life, and they haven't woken up in the morning. So tomorrow, what we want from life is only our imagination. Whatever we've experienced in our life, the past, is only a memory that you hold on to. 3 years ago, I came to the program, someone pushed me in the line, or cut the line in front of me as I was about to reach, the food stalls. Now, 3 years later, if this thought is still in your head, you would have come to the program, but you're not listening to satsang that much, but you'll be looking for that person who pushed you, because this is an opportunity after 3 years to get back to them. Now, this is individually what's happening to all of us in life, husbands and wife are my personal experience with the Radheji during the lockdown was, we had 500 fights. I lost all of them. And then I realized that the easiest way of not fighting at all was just remembering 3 very important words, which I should tell Kavi also, a newly married adventurer into the new aspects of life, is that you say that you are right from the very beginning. Then there is no argument and you can sleep peacefully and there are no fights. But it took me 500 fights to realize that, and 8 years or 9 years too late to realize that. But I did realize it. But what I'm trying to say is that in life gives us the opportunity to learn and to grow. But are we growing and are we learning? Because till you do not understand your consciousness, we will always be trapped in the restrictions of our mind. And mind will always restrict us. Mind will always cause duality because it is the mind's nature to think. Mind, you cannot say, many people say, to have a spiritual experience, there should be no mind. The mind should not exist. Then why did God give us mind in the first place if it was not meant to exist? So the thing is that life teaches us how to utilize every aspect of your being to the fullest and to the right time. There's a very beautiful story of this king who goes to a holy man, and he wants to know what is the perfect time for the perfect action. And how would we know that what is the perfect thing to do at a given point of time? Which is in all of us, there is this longing, if I'm doing the right thing or not, if I've made the right choice in my life or not. And sometimes we doubt ourselves, and that doubt makes us stagnant. So the sage just looks at the king and he doesn't say anything. He said, you've come, you've traveled a lot. Why don't you rest at the ashram and enjoy the ashram life? So the person, the king also starts enjoying his simple life over there, and he starts doing the ashram chores. And suddenly he hears a voice from the jungle, and there's a person crying in pain. So the king goes into the jungle and he sees that there's a man there and he's wounded by a wild animal. Immediately the king picks up the person, gets him to the ashram, nurses him throughout the night, makes sure his wounds are clean. The person had terrible fever because of the wounds that he received from the wild animal. And the king nurses him without any wants or desires because he doesn't even know the person. And in the morning when the person gains consciousness and he sees that the king is nursing him, he completely breaks down and he starts crying. And the king said, why are you crying? So the person said that I was sent to kill you here because we got to know that you are visiting this jungle in the middle of nowhere and your entourage will not be there with you. So I was sent by your neighboring kingdom's king to assassinate you. But you are the person who's protected my life. So now I'm duty bound to serve you for the rest of my life because you saved my life. Now the king is very taken aback. He goes to the wise men and he says, oh, there's been an assassination attempt on me. I must go back to my kingdom. I must, have some repercussion to this, what has happened. But I still haven't got the answer to my question. That what is the most important time to do what action? And the sage just laughs and he says that you just perform the right action at the right time. There is no right action that we can say is right for everyone. All of us are living in different, complications of life. But to do the right thing at the time that it is required is the right karma. Today, if I'm suffering in any way or the other, then it is very important as a human being to answer that why am I suffering? To ask this question and find the answer to my suffering. And if I cannot do that, then I will continue to suffer. And if I continue to suffer and I don't correct myself, then sometimes my suffering also seeps into other people's lives around me. And that's what happens. Today, I might not have a problem in my life, but if my best friend is not well, his unhappiness becomes my unhappiness because we are interconnected. If my wife is not feeling well, I'll be tensed as to why she's not feeling well. If my child is not well, his worry becomes my worry. So in this integrated way of life, how do we perform the right action? So every moment in life will give you an opportunity to choose, to make a choice. And sometimes we resist the choice. Why? Because sometimes we like, the repetition that we are living in, and it's very difficult to break that. It's like you ask a very old person if you want to travel. They say, nahi, hum nahi jayenge ghar se bahar, kuch ho jayega. We won't step off the house, that something can happen to us, we can have an accident. But if something has to happen to us, and any accident, it will happen within our homes also. It's not that we have to be outside on the road for something to happen to us. So sometimes we live in this fear, and we like this fear. Why? Because it gives us some sort of stability. But life is meant to be experienced in multitudes of ways. When a person becomes conscious of itself, then the mind voice becomes subdued. And that happens to all of us in some way or the other. If a child is playing, outside in the field, and the mother doesn't check him, the child is immersed in his game so much that the mind and the body do not exist. It is only the moment and the joy that he is experiencing from playing outside in the field. Now it's become laptops and video games and iPads, but the experience is the same. If I'm enjoying something, I'm totally immersed in it, then all other fluctuations of the mind cease to exist. This is what is taught through meditation. Meditation is realizing the moment and focusing your all and entirety into that moment. That is why we breathe. That is why meditation is connected to the breath. Breath is an activity that we are existing only because of our breath. If this inhalation and exhalation of breath stops, then there is no life. And this is what Swami Brahmanand ji said, कि निरंजन माला घट में फिरे दिन रात ऊपर आवत नीचे जावत श्वास श्वास चल जात, संसारी नर समझे नहीं वृथा उमर बिहात, निरंजन माला घट में फिरे दिन रात. That within us there is an incredible process happening. It's an amazing process that is happening. We are breathing in, we are breathing out. Niranjan mala ghat mein fire din raat, upar aavad niche jaavad. This is the inhalation and the exhalation of breath. Or sansari nar samjhe nahi, that a person who is engrossed into the materialism of the world, or he's not seeking his true self, he's only limited to the mind and the body, then a person like that will never be able to understand the importance of his breath, and it will take a lifetime for that person to even recognize the importance of his breath. And it happens. I'll give you a small example. We go to art galleries and we see these magnificent paintings people have made. Some paintings are worth millions and millions of dollars. Now, if I ask you, what is the value of the painting? Like, what gives the painting its value? Is it the painter? Is it the paintbrush or the colors, the medium of paint? Or is it the vision of the artist? You know? So accordingly, everyone according to their own understanding will say, oh, if the painter is not present, the painting will not exist. If the painter is also present, he doesn't have talent, then the painting will not exist. If a painter is present, he has talent, but he doesn't have the means to express his talent. If he doesn't have a paintbrush, then the painting also will not exist. But if all these things are there, but there is one component which is not there, then even if you have the painter, you have the means of painting, you have his talent. But if you don't have a blank piece of paper, a blank canvas, then irrespective of your talent, your medium, your existence, the painting will not exist. So what is the most important aspect of the painting? Is the blank piece of paper on which the painter puts his imagination. But if I tell you this blank piece of paper is worth $1 million, no one is going to give me $1 million for the painting because I do not understand it. In the same way, within ourselves, we are a canvas. There is the mind, body, and the spirit. Now, it's easy to understand the body because it is a means of function. It is easy to understand the mind because of the means of expression. But to understand the breath, which is the prime vital, without which the mind won't exist, the body won't exist, no expression will exist, your existence won't exist. We do not value the inhalation and the exhalation of breath because it is constant. We take it for granted. So it is very important, and meditation techniques are very simple. You have to take some time out of your busy schedule and focus within yourself. You know, this corona pandemic obviously brought lots of ups and downs in all our lives. But if you look at it, it also gave us an opportunity to reevaluate what is important in our lives. You know, I didn't realize it in so many ways till you realize it. You know, earlier I used to travel for programs. There used to be times when you're traveling constantly for weeks and weeks. And I used to come back home and suddenly I used to see Shanji is this small, then he's grown up, and then he's grown up, and then he's walking, and he's, you know, expressing himself. He must have said his first word, but I was not there. He must have taken his first step, but I was traveling. And in this past 3 years, I've got the beautiful opportunity just to see my son grow and to share all those experiences, to share his, you know, his first time skating, his first time swimming, you know. I do all the diaper changes, not diaper changes anymore, but all the cleaning and the washing. But this is something I would have never experienced if this pandemic didn't come. So obviously the pandemic did come and it really upset our lives, but it also gave us an opportunity to reevaluate our lives and understand what is important. Earlier I thought probably wearing a very good dress and going out for dinner was very significant in my life. But then pandemic told us you can have the same experience at home. Earlier I used to dress up and go to work and say, oh, my work ethic is there. Working from home does the same thing. So now what is important in life? This is a time to introspect. And that is what meditation teaches us. Every time we meditate, we are introspecting what is important at that very moment in our life. And then you have to learn to shed the rest. One of the greatest aspects of meditation is that we learn to forgive. You know, and that is very important. Because someone very wise said that, you know, a woman forgives but never forgets. And a man forgets but never forgives. So technically we are not doing, you know, anything different. And if you see every time a husband and wife would fight, The fight is not about what has happened right now. The fight somehow starts with what is happening right now, and it goes back to 10 years ago you said this to me, 5 years ago you said this to me, 3 years ago you did this to me. So technically we are retaining so much of baggage which is totally unnecessary. And whenever we remember those baggages, we are not putting our best foot forward. So why are we retaining so much of these knots that are making us not ourselves anymore? But this is the way of life. This is how identity or ego enforces itself slowly on consciousness. So in order to understand you are, it is very important to forget what all you've learned and what all you've experienced till now also. And we have to go back to the basics. And the basics is that I am a living being, I breathe. What is this breath? Let's start from there. Rest every aspect of who I am, whether I'm a doctor, engineer, lawyer, important person, a VIP person, a VVIP person, all these aspects are secondary. They come later. But as a human being, as a conscious being, I am breathing. What is the importance of this breath? That is truly understanding meditation. And slowly, when one meditates, one becomes closer to oneself. We are closer to understanding what irritates us, what shifts us, what makes us move. And within that understanding lies our truth of who we are. So just like an onion is peeled over time, there are layers. We have made, masks and layers of who we are. And it is true, we behave differently. With my parents, I can behave in a different way. With my friends, I can behave in a different way. I could have a completely different personality. With someone, I'm very reserved. With someone, I'm totally open. So we are playing so many different roles. And while playing so many different roles, we get lost in who we are. And it's very important to understand and remember who you are. And in order to do that, you have to start slowly forgetting a lot of things. There's a very famous story of Nisargadatta Maharaj. I've said it again and again in satsangs also. And when he went to his guru for Diksha, his guru saw the potential in Nisargadatta Maharaj that he can become an enlightened soul. So his guru only said that you do not know who you are. You do not know who you are. To know who you are, forget who you are not. So he understood this and he went back. And one day he was sitting in his shop and he was trading something. Some person comes, he takes something on credit and doesn't give money, and he goes. And he says, add it to my account. And he already had a big credit account. So obviously Nisargadatta Maharaj got angry that this person comes every time, puts things on credit, never clears his bill, and keeps on adding thing. So the moment he became angry, he realized that I am not anger. I get angry, but I am not anger. If this is not who I am, I have to totally remove this aspect for myself. So constantly he practiced. Every time he got angry, he would be mindful. And while he would be mindful, anger would come. He would not react and the anger would pass. And that's what happens. Time is so powerful that everything changes. But when you let into an emotion, you create that choice. I can only be angry when I start shouting at people. But if I don't shout at people and I let the moment pass, then I had the potential of being angry, but I didn't give in to anger. Then slowly he went to all his other emotions, what we say, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Maya, pride, ignorance, anger. And slowly he removed all these aspects, which he was not. In the end, he said what remained, what my Guruji said, you do not know who you are. Shed whatever you are not. In the end, what will remain is your purity, your essence. So in the same way, when we shed all these masks and these personalities and these importance that we've given ourselves, we get back to the basics, our core. And our core is one. We all of the spirit, we all of consciousness, we all an image made by the Creator in His own image. So that Chaitanya, that spirituality aspect is your true being. And once that shines, then in all aspects, we see there is a transformation. That's why when we meet certain people are very peaceful and calm. They don't get angry only. And in their presence, we also feel calm. And certain people that we meet, like whenever I go meet Aradhya ji, she's so full of energy and, so full of this thing, anger also and this. And so, there's always a confrontation at some point of time there. So it's how people influence you. But how people influence you is what they are carrying within themselves. In the same way, you will also influence people by what you are carrying within yourself. If you carry the light within you, then you will shine in this world. You will remove darkness from other people's life. But if I'm myself surrounded in my own darkness, then I can only give darkness to other people or make other people realize their own darkness in them. So in order to evolve, in order to move forward, it is very important to understand yourself. And understanding yourself is simply meditating, focusing this moment on your breath and nothing more. See, the mind is a trickster. Mind keep on playing tricks. Someone even said that the movement of mind is suffering itself. Today you get a message, something has happened at your house, you will be worried. But the moment the message comes, oh, there's nothing to worry about, everything is safe, your house is secure, again the mind is still. So every experience that you are experiencing in this world is causing the mind to react. And it will react. It will cause thoughts, it will cause ambitions, it will cause aspirations. But in the end, if you can move away from the mind and focus only on your breath, then the mind becomes negated. It's not something that is overpowering you or driving you. So there cannot be no mind, but the mind has to be avoided. So that is what happens. And slowly, when you meditate, slowly, the strength of your consciousness becomes more and more. And through that strength, slowly, you begin to experience different aspects of yourself. And that is what enlightenment is. Many people come to India and, I've met so many travelers from all over the world coming to India. And when I ask them, I said, why are you here essentially? So they say, we've come to find ourselves. So I said, did you lose yourself in India? That you're coming to find yourself there? What is our insecurities, our fears, our doubts? If we have them, we will take them around no matter where we are. If I'm an insecure person or a fearful person, I'll be fearful in my home also, I'll be fearful in India also, I come to London, I'll be fearful here also. So we are carrying our own demons with ourselves wherever we go. Unless you correct what is within you, you cannot correct yourself by changing the outward experiences of life. Because in the end, what you are within is your true self. It will some time or the other, that aspect will shine out. So a lot of people come to India. A lot of people in India also have found ways of duping foreigners by making them yogis, or in 1 week they'll give them a mala, they'll do some puja, and they say, oh, you become yogi. In Rishikesh, there's a hotel called Ananda. It was supposed to be a very big spa at one point and everything. So they make Ananda yogis and they charge you some 20,000 rupees to do that also. So what they do is they say, oh, you want to become an Ananda yogi? For 3 days, they take you next to the river Ganges. They'll sit there. The Babaji will do an havan. They'll throw flowers at you. They'll garland you. Then after 3 days, they'll give you an orange robe and they'll say, oh, you become an Ananda yogi. And you pay for it. So at the end of the day, it's not that you experience something. It's just an illusion of experiencing something. A person goes back home and he's become an Ananda yogi. But what is it to become a yogi? He does not know. So eventually when he goes back home, that robe and that garland is not going to help him change. He's still the same person. He has still the same habits. He still has the same anger issues or insecurities or fears. And it's just that you've covered them up in optics which look very good. And a person might have a placebo effect that, oh, for some time he's feeling very happy. But when the real challenges of life come in, the real complications of life set in, then again what is within will come out, will outshine. And if I'm insecure, if I'm afraid, if I'm fear, then in complicated situations, my true self will again become of that of fear and doubt and insecurities. So the fight is not with the external world. The fight is internal, and the fight is with the chanchalness or the movement of your mind. And if you can control that, then you have overcome everything. तो प्रेमी सज्जनों, हमें बहुत अच्छा लगा आप लोगों को मिल करके और इतने समय बाद आप लोगों को देख करके. जब भगवान ने संसार को पूरा बना दिया, तो भगवान एक दिन भ्रमण पे निकले कि हम जाकर के देखें कि ये मैंने दुनिया जो बनाई है कैसी बनाई है. तो भगवान उड़ रहे थे, ऊपर से जा रहे थे आकाश मार्ग से, नीचे देखते हैं गांव में बहुत सारी महिलाएं बैठ करके बातचीत कर रही है, शोर शराबा हो रहा है, हंसी हो रही है. तो भगवान के मुंह से उनको देख करके एक शब्द निकला, शक्ति. तो तब हम कहते हैं, मतलब ना, डेजिग्नेशन ऑफ विमेन हैज बिकम ऑफ पावर. तो हम कहेंगे मातृ शक्ति, और एसोसिएशन ऑफ विमेन हैज कम विद पावर. तो सब महिलाएं खुश हो गई कि भगवान ने इतना ऊंचा दर्जा शक्ति का हमें दे दिया. अब जितने पुरुष वर्ग थे या जितने हस्बैंड्स होंगे, वो सब बड़े उदास हो गए, उन्होंने कहा भगवान ने तो इनको इतना बड़ा दर्जा दे दिया, हमारा क्या। तो फिर सब लोग एक कंटिंजेंट बना करके, एक टीम बना करके भगवान के पास जाते हैं, कहते हैं भगवान आपने महिलाओं को तो इतना बड़ा दर्जा दे दिया शक्ति का, हमें भी कुछ दीजिए। तो भगवान हंस करके सारे पुरुषों की ओर देखते हैं और कहते हैं शयन शक्ति। तो ये जो सबसे बड़ी ड्युअलिटी का डिवीजन है, शक्ति और शयन शक्ति का, ये संसार की एक मिथ्या है। हमारे शास्त्रों में ये स्पष्ट वर्णन है, एकम सत्यम विप्रा बहुता वदंती, कि सत्य एक है, सत्य के अंदर कोई परिवर्तन नहीं है, लेकिन अलग अलग समय में अलग अलग समझ के द्वारा सत्य को अलग अलग रूप में देखा गया है। हम भगवान कृष्ण को बाल अवस्था में देख सकते हैं, बाल अवस्था में हम भगवान कृष्ण की लीलाएं देखेंगे। फिर हमने देखा कृष्ण जी को बदलते हुए, तो वो बड़े हो गए तो उनकी लीलाएं भी बदल गई। फिर जब वो उन्होंने युद्ध किया, मतलब उनको रणछोड़ दास भी कहा जाता है, तो उन्होंने वो चीजें भी, हमने उनकी एस्पेक्ट को देखा। फिर आगे आगे जैसे हम देखते गए, हम उनके छल को भी हमने देखा। तो कितने परिवर्तन हम भगवान श्री कृष्ण के जीवन में ही देखते हैं। लेकिन कृष्ण तो कृष्ण ही है ना, वो तो एक कॉन्शियसनेस है, एक चेतना है, पर चेतना के रूप में हम उन्हें कभी नहीं देखते। तो कहने का अभिप्राय ये है, महान पुरुष ये समझाते हैं, आपका एक परम सत्य है जो आपका अस्तित्व है, उस अस्तित्व को जानो। उस अस्तित्व के ऊपर हमने अपने अपने अलग रूप बना दिए। हम अपने आप को डॉक्टर कह सकते हैं, इंजीनियर कह सकते हैं, एक अच्छा इंसान, बुरा इंसान कह सकते हैं, बहुत महत्वपूर्ण इंसान कह सकते हैं, अपने आप को पढ़ा लिखा अनपढ़ कह सकते हैं। ये अलग अलग एस्पेक्ट्स है हमारे लाइफ के, पर ये हमें डिफाइन नहीं करते हैं। तो महान पुरुष ये समझाते हैं कि जो आप हो सबसे पहले उसको जानो, और आप क्या हो, तो उस चीज को जानने के लिए अपनी श्वासों के महत्व को जानना बहुत जरूरी है। भगवान शंकर भी उमा से क्या कहते हैं, माँ पार्वती से, कि उमा कहूं मैं अनुभव अपना, सत उमा कहूं मैं अनुभव अपना, सत हरि भजन जगत एक सपना। कि सत्य क्या है संसार में, सत्य केवल एक चीज है, जो चेतना है, जो आपके अंदर कॉन्शियसनेस है, क्योंकि वही संसार को चला रही है। और जगत एक सपना, जगत की क्या है, जगत मिथ्या क्यों कहा, क्योंकि जगत ड्युअलिटी है। हम संसार में जीते हैं तो हम क्या देखते हैं, अंधकार प्रकाश, किसी से मिलना बिछड़ना, सुख दुख, हानि लाभ, और हमने इस पूरे संसार को इस ड्युअलिटी के विभाजन में, द्वैत के विभाजन में हमने डाल दिया है। लेकिन द्वैत तो सत्य है ही नहीं। जब कहा गया है कि एकम सत्यम, कि सत्य एक हो सकता है, उसका एक ही स्वरूप है, तो ये संसार की जो मिथ्या है, जिसको हम द्वैत कहते हैं, ये तो सत्य है ही नहीं, क्योंकि इसमें परिवर्तन है। आज प्रकाश है, थोड़े समय बाद अंधकार हो जाएगा। आज मैं खुश हूं, कुछ समय बाद मैं दुखी हो जाऊंगा। आज अगर मैं दुखी हूं तो ये दुख भी हमेशा नहीं रहेगा। किसी अच्छे व्यक्ति से मिलना होगा, किसी अच्छी चीज को सुनना होगा, तो फिर जीवन मेरा बदल जाएगा। अच्छी चीज का अनुभव होगा तो फिर मैं खुश हो जाऊंगा। तो ये एक मिथ्या है। लेकिन क्या कहा कि हरि व्यापक सर्वत्र समाना, भगवान का जो अंश है सर्वत्र समाया हुआ है। अगर सर्वत्र है, भगवान कण कण में है, तो वो भगवान का एक अंश मेरे अंदर भी तो है, चेतना के रूप में। और कहा क्या, प्रेम ते प्रकट होत मैं जाना, कि अब मैं अपने आप को कैसे जानूंगा, उस अंश को मैं कैसे जानूंगा, तो कहा प्रेम ते प्रकट होत मैं जाना। यही चीज कबीरदास जी भी कहते हैं कि जब मैं था तो हरि नहीं, जब हरि थे मैं नाही, प्रेम की गली इतनी साकरी उसमें दो न समाए। कि क्या कहा कि जब मैं था, जब मेरे अंदर अहंकार था, जो प्रभु श्री राम भी कहते हैं कि मिथ्या मोह कहां से आती है, जब मैं है तब मेरा है, जब मेरा है तो तेरा है। तो मैंने अहंकार को जन्म दिया, अहंकार ने द्वैत को जन्म दिया, और यही हमारा मोह और मिथ्या है संसार के प्रति। इस अहंकार को आप बदल दो, इस मिथ्या से आप परे हो जाओ, तो जो सत्य है वो अपने आप वही है। तो हमें अपने आप को बदलना है, अपने ऑप्टिक्स को बदलना है, जिस तरह से हम संसार को देखते हैं उस चीज को बदलना है। और वो बदलाव तभी होता है जब धीरे धीरे हम आत्म सुमिरन करना सीखते हैं, अपने आप से समय बिताना सीखते हैं, अपने आप को जानना हम सीखते हैं। क्योंकि धीरे धीरे जो हमारा असत्य है उससे हमें परे होना होगा। और जब हम अपने असत्य से परे हो जाते हैं, उसको टोटली अपने उससे डिवॉइड हो जाते हैं, तो जो आपका सत्य है वो उभरता है। और हम सबका सत्य एक ही है, हम सब चेतना के ही अंश है, चैतन्य प्रभु के ही अंश है, और हम सब के अंदर चैतन्य आत्मा के रूप में है। तो अपने आत्मा के स्वरूप को हमें जानना है, और वो धीरे धीरे होता है जब हम अपने आप को समझते हैं। तो जब मैं था तो हरि नहीं, जब अहंकार था तो भगवान नहीं थे, मतलब उनका अनुभव नहीं था। जब हरि थे मैं नहीं, जब मैंने अपने अंदर से मैं को हटा दिया अहंकार, तब मैंने प्रभु के अपारता को समझा। और प्रेम की गली वे वो कहते इतनी साकरी कि वो जो प्रभु तक का रास्ता है इतना इतना छोटा है कि उसमें केवल एक भाव आ सकता है। अगर प्रेम अनकंडीशनल ना हो, मतलब विदाउट एनी कंडीशन, मतलब तब अब प्रेम में भी कंडीशंस है। आप सुबेरे अपने हस्बैंड के लिए चाय बनाते हैं तो हस्बैंड बड़े खुश है। एक दिन चाय ना बनाइए तब क्या होता है? तब असली प्रेम झलकेगा ना। तो हमने अपने प्रेम को भी कंडीशंस में बांध दिया, तुम ये करोगे मेरे लिए, मतलब हर चीज, जैसे प्रीनप अग्रीमेंट लोग साइन कर लेते हैं विदेशों में, तो ऐसे ही हमने अनुभव को भी प्री कंडीशन कर दिया। अरे भगवान मैंने आपके लिए ये किया, भगवान ने मेरे लिए क्या किया? अरे भगवान मैंने इतने लड्डू का प्रसाद चढ़ाया। पहले तो हम भगवान को ब्राइब ही करते हैं ना, पहले हम लड्डू थोड़ी चढ़ाते हैं, हम कहते हैं भगवान मेरा काम हो जाए तब मैं लड्डू चढ़ाऊंगा, है ना। और फिर काम होता है तब कभी हम चढ़ाते हैं, नहीं चढ़ाते, वो तो अपने ऊपर है। कितने लोग हैं जो इसी महत्वाकांक्षा से अच्छे काम करते हैं कि भगवान उन्हें और अच्छा देगा, तो वो तो स्वार्थ हो गया ना, वो तो प्रेम नहीं हुआ, वो निस्वार्थ भाव नहीं हुआ। तो कहा कि एक ही भाव है, वो प्रेम की गली इतनी साकरी, उसमें दो भाव नहीं कभी जाएंगे। तो प्रेम को ऐसा रखो जो पवित्र हो। प्रेम के अंदर हमने मोह डाल दिया, लालच डाल दिया, तो क्या है कि हम भगवान के वास्तविक स्वरूप को नहीं पहचान पाएंगे। भगवान के अनुभव को जरूर पा सकते हैं, अच्छाई के अनुभव को हम जरूर पा सकते हैं, किसी के अंदर चैतन्य झलक रहा है उससे मिल करके हम शांति कुछ समय के लिए जरूर पा सकते हैं। हम तीरथ जाएंगे, आप केदारनाथ जाओगे, आपका मन खुश हो जाएगा, क्योंकि ये जो खींचातानी है और यहाँ की आपकी ट्यूब स्ट्राइक है और बस स्ट्राइक है, इससे तो आप दूर ही हो, तो जीवन तो वहां आसान ही है। लेकिन वो टेम्पररी है। जब आप वहां से वापस आ जाओगे तो आपको वापस इसी संसार के जंजाल में आना होगा, संसार की खींचातानी में आना होगा। तब आप खुश रह सकते हैं कि नहीं, वो वास्तविक परीक्षा है। तो हर एक व्यक्ति को अपने अंदर अपने आप से संघर्ष करना है, अपने मन से संघर्ष करना है। मन चलायमान है, मन मोक्ष का कारण है, मन बंधन का कारण है। मन को हमने सही जगह लगाया, मन हमें अच्छे अनुभव को देता है। मन को हम गलत गांठों में लगा देते हैं तो यही जीवन जो आज बहुत खुशहाल है, हमारा ही जीवन अंधकार में ग्रसित हो जाता है। तो ये बहुत जरूरी है कि धीरे धीरे गुरु महाराज जी की कृपा से आज देखिए कोरोना काल भी एक तरह से टल ही गया है, और धीरे धीरे जैसे हमारा जीवन था वैसे पहले की तरह हो रहा है। लेकिन अब मैं जो देख रहा हूं कि लोगों के मन के अंदर एक इनडिसाइसिवनेस सी आ गई है, हम करें या ना करें। क्योंकि कोरोना में यही था, घर से बाहर निकले ना निकले, ये काम करे ना करे, किसी को मिलने हम चाहते भी जाने के लिए वो मना कर देते, अरे भाई यहाँ मत आना, तो हमें क्या पता तुम्हें कोरोना हो ना हो। तो जीवन इतनी उलट पुलट हो गई है कि अब जीवन सीधी तरीके से हम कैसे जिए इसमें भय लगता है। लेकिन धीरे धीरे एक दूर दार्शनिक ने बड़ी सुंदर बात कही, उसने कहा कि whatever life has taught me about itself can be summed up in 3 words: it goes on। मतलब जीवन आगे बढ़ता ही चले जाएगा, हम रुक जाएंगे, हम भयभीत हो जाएंगे, हम डर जाएंगे, हम अपने आप को एक कमरे में बंद कर लेंगे, लेकिन जीवन आगे बढ़ता ही चले जाएगा। तो जीवन में हमें आगे जाना है, एक पॉजिटिव फ्रेम ऑफ माइंड के साथ जाना है, एक अच्छे इरादों के साथ हमें जीवन में आगे बढ़ना है। और जब तक हम अपने आप को नहीं रिफाइन कर सकेंगे, अपने आप को नहीं बदल सकेंगे, ये सब चीजें बातें रह जाती है, डिस्कशंस रह जाते हैं, पॉइंट्स ऑफ व्यू रह जाते हैं। लेकिन हमारी जो चंचलता है और उसके कारण जो हमें दुख है, वो दुख तो दुख ही रहता है। भाई देखिए, दुख का क्या नेचर है? दुख क्या है कि अगर आपका मन संतुष्ट नहीं है तो आप दुखी हैं। अब दुख तो अपने आप को ढूंढेगा ना। आज आप किस चीज से दुखी है? किसी के पास नौकरी नहीं होगी वो दुखी है, पर उसे नौकरी मिल जाए फिर उसका दुख क्या है कि नौकरी में पेचेक इक्वल नहीं है हमारा, मतलब ना, किसी को ज्यादा मिल रहा है, किसी को कम मिल रहा है। फिर मुझे पेचेक भी ज्यादा मिल जाए, फिर मुझे क्या लगेगा, या मेरा ऑफिस छोटा है फिर ऑफिस भी बड़ा मिल जाए, फिर मुझे कोई और। तो दुख का कारण क्या है? मन अगर गलत गलत चीजों को पे अंदर अटकता रहे तो हम ही तो अपने दुख को जन्म दे रहे हैं, क्योंकि हम असंतुष्ट हैं। भगवान ने इतना कुछ हमें दे दिया, और इस कोरोना काल में अगर हम यहाँ बैठे हुए हैं तो ये तो भगवान की सबसे बड़ी कृपा है। कितने लोग हैं, हमने दरबार में भी देखा, कितने महात्मा बाई जी नहीं रहे हैं, वो तो सेवा ही कर रहे थे, है ना। कितने लोग हैं जो मतलब आपके फ्रंटलाइन वॉरियर्स थे, वो नहीं रहे, उनके घर में दिवाली नहीं बनी, होली नहीं बनी। हम लोग तो आज होली दिवाली मना रहे हैं, सारे पर्व मना रहे हैं, लेकिन कितने लोगों ने कितने लोगों को खो दिया। मतलब तो संसार में कितना बड़ा ये एक मतलब ये पैंडेमिक आया, लेकिन आज भी हम यहाँ हैं, वी सर्वाइव्ड इट. सो इट इजंट इट गॉड्स ग्रेस, इट इजंट इट, ये कितनी बड़ी कृपा है. तो कहने का उपाय है कि कभी कभी क्या होता है कि मन इतना चलायमान हो जाता है कि जीवन में जो हमें अच्छा मिला है इसकी ओर तो हम देखते ही नहीं. और जब हम अच्छी चीजों को अपने जीवन में नहीं रिकग्नाइज करेंगे तो क्या होता है, जीवन में करवाहट आती है. हम कड़वी चीजों को ही रिकग्नाइज करते हैं. और जब जीवन में आप गलत ही चीजों को रिकग्नाइज करेंगे तो आदत ही वो चीज हो जाती है कि काम करने से ही पहले हम सारे नेगेटिव पॉइंट्स इकट्ठा कर लेंगे. भजन करे नहीं करे, अरे भजन क्यों करे, मन तो लगेगा नहीं, काम पे भी जाना है, टाइम वेस्ट होगा. और वैसे हम कितना अपना टाइम और अन्य चीजों पे वेस्ट कर लेते हैं, तब ये ख्याल नहीं आता कि भैया ये तो टाइम वेस्ट कर रहे हैं, थोड़ा भजन ही कर ले. तो ये मन की जो आदत है इसको हमें बदलना है. और मन की आदत कैसे बदलेगी, केवल एक चीज से, अभ्यास. जो चीज आप बार बार करोगे उसमें आप निपुणता पाते हो. है, एक डॉक्टर भी बार बार सर्जरी करता है, उसका हाथ इतना साफ हो जाता है कि मरीज को भी नहीं पता चलता उसकी सर्जरी हो गई. तो कहने का अभिप्राय यही है, जब आप अपने आप से प्रैक्टिस करोगे तो अपने अंदर जो चेतना है वो जल्दी उभरेगी. अगर हमने ज्ञान ले लिया और उसके ऊपर कोई काम ही नहीं किया तो फिर क्या होता है कि जीवन में हम परिवर्तन को नहीं पा सकते. चेष्टा तो होती है, कामना होती है, इच्छा होती है कि हमारे जीवन में भी अच्छा हो, किसी और के जीवन में इतना अच्छा हो रहा है, वो चीज हमारे, पर हमारे जीवन में वो परिवर्तन आता नहीं. तो अपने आप से हम सबको संघर्ष करना है. और आप सबको देख करके हमें बहुत ही अच्छा लग रहा है. हम यही आशा करेंगे कि अब हम यहाँ तक आ गए तो आप लोग भी थोड़ा इंडिया आने का कष्ट करें. चियान जी और आयान जी के लिए महाराज जी के जन्मदिन में बहुत बड़ा उत्सव रखा गया है 20-21 सितंबर का. अगर उस समय नहीं आ सकते तो अगले साल अप्रैल में आइए, क्योंकि अब इंडिया में सारी रिस्ट्रिक्शन एक तरह से हटी गई है और कार्यक्रम बहुत अच्छे हो रहे हैं. तो जो चीज पहले हमने मिस की है, अगर उसी चीज को हम करें तो धीरे धीरे तभी जीवन वापस चलायमान होगा. तो जाते जाते आपको जरूर एक चुटकुला हम सुना के जाएंगे. एक दिन एक आदमी, एक हस्बैंड की डेथ हो जाती है और वो नीचे यमलोक पहुंचते हैं, यमराज जी से मिलते हैं. तो उसके मन के अंदर एक बड़ी चाह होती है कि भाई मेरी अचानक एक्सीडेंट में डेथ हो गई, घर में तो मैं बात ही नहीं कर सका किसी से. तो यमराज जी के पास जाते हैं कि यमराज जी प्लीज एक बार एक फोन करा दीजिए घर में, क्योंकि मुझे बहुत चीजें कहनी है, बहुत चीजें बोलनी है, तो एक बार बात हो जाती तो बहुत अच्छा रहता. तो यमराज जी फोन दे देते हैं कि कर लो बात. अब ये आदमी बात करता है, अब ये समय का इसको ध्यान नहीं रहता, वो बात इतनी लंबी हो जाती है, जब उसे ध्यान आता ही रहे मैंने तो घंटों बात कर ली, इस फोन कॉल का बिल तो बहुत बड़ा आएगा, ये तो एक लोग से दूसरे लोग बात हो रही है. तो वो काटता है, यमराज जी के पास जाता है, यमराज जी से कहता है सॉरी यमराज जी, बहुत बड़ी गलती हो गई, टाइम का तो ख्याल ही नहीं रहा, ये इतना लंबा मैंने फोन कॉल कर दिया, बिल तो बहुत आया होगा. यमराज जी ने कहा बिल तो बहुत आया होगा. पर ये बताओ तुम बात किससे कर रहे थे, किससे बात की. तो कहते जी मैंने अपनी बीबी से बात की. तो यमराज जी ने कहा अच्छा कोई बिल नहीं है फिर. अब उस आदमी को समझ में नहीं आया, उसने कहा कि भाई अभी तो यमराज जी कहते बहुत बड़ा बिल आएगा, फिर कह रहे हैं, तो कह रहे कि जी बीबी से बात करने का क्यों बिल नहीं है. तो यमराज जी कहते हैं हमारी एक स्पेशल स्कीम यहाँ चल रही है, हेल टू हेल इज फ्री, एक नरक से दूसरे नरक में बात करने का कोई कॉस्ट नहीं है. तो इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ सबको दुआ आशीर्वाद, हरिओम तत्सत.
Shri Vibhu Maharaj ki jai. On behalf of Manav Society UK, I would like to thank you, Shri Vibhu Maharaj, for sharing your thoughts with us this afternoon. We have a lot to think about, and I'm sure everyone here will be able to take away at least one small gem from your message and be able to enrich and enhance some aspect of their lives. So we do have the opportunity for blessings and lunch shortly, but before we do, I'd like to request our trustee, Veena Benvora, to come and say a few words. Thank you.
Lots and lots of salutations to everybody and to Guru Maharaj Ji and to Shraddhaji Maharaj Ji for having come and given us his precious time. Shraddhaji Maharaj Ji is part of a family who have been devoted their lives to bring peace on the planet and peace in the form of a peace bomb. Guru Maharaj Ji has spent all his life teaching and spreading the understanding of Naam and the understanding of our breath, the value of our breath, which we have all realized is so, so significant for our lives. And like Shraddhaji Maharaj Ji has given us the importance of understanding of life and of time that we have to be able to enjoy this moment, the time of enjoying satsang is what Shraddhaji Maharaj Ji wants us to be at. Every moment of life to be enjoyed and to be appreciated that God is giving us this valuable moment of living. So every moment of our life is of great significance. And Shraddhaji Maharaj Ji, of course, also shares with us the understanding of Shakti, the energy that we all have, and the power of endurance, the Sen Shakti that he wants every person to be able to endure. So we are very, very appreciative of what he does for us. He connects us to our soul, which is the source of universal life force. And that life force is within everybody. But we start looking for it outside until we get a reminder about it. And then we start seeking for a Satguru. And Satguru Maharaj Ji is present in today's time to give us this experience, to connect us to our real father, where we have come from, and the home that we have to go back to eventually. So we are very, very appreciative, and on behalf of Manav Dharam UK Society, I would like to pay with a heart full of appreciation and gratitude, I would like to thank Shraddhaji Maharaj Ji for giving us his precious time, especially leaving his young son behind and coming and sparing time for us all. And this is the most valuable life that we can experience. And we are very, very fortunate that Shraddhaji Maharaj Ji has come and spared such lovely days with us. So thank you, Shraddhaji Maharaj Ji, and thank you, Satguru Maharaj Ji, for sending him. And can I please ask everybody to be upstanding and say, have a Jaikara for Guru Maharaj Ji and Shraddhaji Maharaj Ji. प्रेम से बोलिए श्री श्रद्धाजी महाराज की जय, श्री सतगुरु सतपाल महाराज की जय. And thank you everybody for coming and being here and listening to the satsang so attentively. Thank you on behalf of Manav Dharam UK Society. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. So we'll now have the opportunity for blessings and followed by lunch. So can I kindly request those that are on chairs, please sit down. Just for practicality, we'll try and get the people that are on the floor first to come and receive blessings and then head straight outside. Please keep your shoes on and head straight outside for lunch from this side. If you can start making a queue from this side. Please can I request some volunteers to come forward and assist with the queue. Please come on this side of the hall, as this side of the stage. Please receive darshan and go straight outside. If just the people that are sat down first, please go. Yeah, this way. Vishabhai, this way, and then straight out. Sorry? Yeah, that is it. Please come to this side of the stage first. Just the people that are sat down on the floor. Actually, you go. Can I get the first row, first 2 rows of the people sat down on the chairs, please start coming forward? Control from that side, and then just urge them